want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Prejudice and paranoia, hate groups, radically dangerous, of systemic racism, harmful stereotypes, hateful supporters, racial discrimination, in dark conspiracy theories, far dark reaches of the internet, the racist lie with another racist lie, bigotry, racist, white supremacist, bigot, an anti-Semitic on white supremacist, white nationalist leader of the Ku Klux Klan, anti-Semitic death threats, conspiracy theories, racist Alex Jones, racially tinged rumors. His bigotry is prejudice, a cruise missile, right-wing racial divides, conservative right, racist ideas, race-baiting ideas, anti-Muslim, anti-immigrant, anti-women, the emerging racist ideology known as the alt-right. White identity, hardline right-wing nationalism around the world, right-wing Nigel Farage, anti-immigrant sentiments based on race, extreme nationalism, racial resentment, white supremacists, racists, racialists, white supremacists, white nationalists, paranoid alt-right, racist, bigotry, prejudice, diversity, prejudice, paranoia. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and you've just heard from the presidential candidate, Hillary Rodham Clinton, out of her first speech back from 9/11, where she did her face plant, and all she could talk about is race, hate, bigoted speech,
diversity,
alt-right.
Pepe! Oh, man.
Good evening, everybody. You're listening to Smyth Radio with your host, Brian Smith, and
Carrie Smith,
giving you all the latest details of breaking news that went down over the weekend, some of the things that they want to hide from you. And once again, Comey, FBI director, not playing politics again, doing another FBI docu-dump, as I call it, on Friday so that nobody will see that. Presidential debates coming up, the very first one on Monday. And September 26th, I believe that is, isn't it? Yeah, 25th. Oh, of course. Tomorrow, the 26th. Today is the 25th of September, 2016. We're going to be talking about the debates. We're going to be talking about a little bit about Hillary's health. We'll touch on the riots. I know the riots are kind of fading down, but we'll still touch on those as some of the things you may know or may not have known about the riots. There's a lot of CNN and MSNBC that are trying to assist Hillary in trashing Trump. Obama attempted to do that as well. So everybody's coming out with the long knives. We're going to talk about those things. International news, there is some.
Nothing.
If you're paying attention to anything, Russia is doing what Russia does. Syria is doing what Syria's been doing, and ISIS. We do officially have, because the FBI docu-dump, we do officially have the founding members of ISIS. It has been revealed.
We discovered who the founder of ISIS is, which is very revealing.
So stay tuned. And hour number 9. Just kidding, folks. We'll get to that here in a little bit, as well as some of the other things that have happened this whole week. I guess.
What do you want to start with? We're actually reading our show prep here.
Let's wrap up the riots, because that happened most recently.
Okay, so I can't take credit for this, and it really pains me to not get to take credit for this, because this sounds like something that I would come up with. But I have to report what Rush Limbaugh came up with, which is so blatantly obvious. You know, we like to put on our tinfoil hats here, but when it's actually announced by Rush Limbaugh, I don't know. He has this reputation for stopping just short of requiring the tinfoil hat.
He's good at that. He's real good at that.
He knows how to stay out of the weeds, and he knows how to stay out of tinfoil hat land. So here's what he pointed out. We're talking the riots. You have a shooting in Oklahoma. And in Oklahoma, you had a white female cop, shoot what turned out to be an unarmed black man and killed him. It's very controversial. There's other guy trying to tase. There's a lot of opinions that I could throw on that I feel about that situation. Based on, and it was recorded from a helicopter, and there may have even been some body cams. I personally, it's not the point of what Rush Limbaugh said, but I just want to tell you what I think about it personally. When I see that the guy is not listening to commands, and he's walking to his car, and they actually interviewed the woman that shot him.
Okay.
She agreed, yeah. And she said, well, when a guy is a suspect, is disobeying commands, and we already knew that he has a prior record. He's been in prison for 7 years for assault with a deadly weapon.
Well, he assaulted cops back in 2005. He assaulted cops and did jail time for that. So
when you have a background like that, there's a certain amount of prejudice that you must apply as a police officer. Okay? It's not even prejudice. Prejudice would be like judging before you know information. This would be post-judging,
right? Because
they know what his record is.
Right.
Okay? So that being said, when he's ignoring commands and he is showing everybody by action that he must get to his car, it makes you wonder, what does he need to get to the car for? What is he going to get out of the car?
Stop, sir. Stop, sir. Sir, no, do not get in your car. I know your hands are up, but that don't make no never mind.
Well, actually put his hands down once he started walking. He had his hands up at first, and then once he decided to start walking towards his car, then he put his hands down. So pretty much the walk to the car, his hands were down. So all the lie you heard about, but his hands were up. Yeah, his hands were up. But guess what? There's a thing in physics, in the real world, in the universe, we call time. And time is what prevents things from happening all at once.
Oh, so Carrie, see, my hands are up right now?
Yeah.
So when I get pulled over tonight, you go on the air and you tell that Brian had his hands up.
His hands were up.
At one time.
I'm sure at some point in his life his hands were up, right? That's literally what the detractors were trying to convince us of. Okay, so my thing is if you put it in your mind as a cop, and I am going to criticize the cops a little bit here, and it may not be their fault personally. It might be something with the training or the system, the way it operates. If you know that if he sticks his hand in the window that you're going to go ahead and kill him, why can't we just tase him before we have to kill him? Like a decision needs to be made. Please, sir, don't put your hand in the window or else I'm going to have to kill you. Why don't you just cut out the middleman and say, all right, just to prevent him from going ahead and making us have to shoot him, let's just tase him now and ask for forgiveness later.
Okay, however, just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I want to hear
I'm a cop. I've got my gun, and this does happen. I've got my gun on the right. I've got my taser on the left.
Oh, you're saying she pulled out. I know it's happened.
It did happen in the past.
Yeah.
She pulled out the gun thinking it was a taser and jerked the
Do you know your
back.
right from your left?
Right, correct. But I digress. She pulls out her gun instead of the taser. She sees, okay, crap, I've got my gun and not the taser. I don't have time to switch that in a heated situation.
But she has cover, though. It's not like she's by herself. She could say, Brian, cover him. I'm going to have to switch to the taser.
Cover me. I'm going double ops. I'm going in. I've got to retrieve my anti-stun gun that is laser beam operated.
I want to get my double barrel beanbag gun.
There you go.
Anyway, so...
Well, I'm just saying, if she pulled out her gun, it's possible she said, well, it's too late now. I'm not going back.
Yeah. And you know what Trump has brought up? Trump has said, why is it that we have to shoot to kill? This is a perfect example of going ahead and shooting to wound. Because if all you want him to stop doing is walking to his car, at that point, if you don't have the taser, shoot him in the leg. I'm pretty sure that he's not going to get too much further after that.
She was pretty close to him that she could probably do that. However, they are not trained.
No, they are not allowed to.
They are not trained.
That would be considered a fail.
Right.
If you don't kill the person with the first shot, that first shot is considered a fail.
Right.
That's kind of sad. I think that's a sad state that we're living in.
So you think that there should be a shoot to wound?
I agree with Trump that we should look. He didn't say I believe that we should shoot to wound. He just said, why don't they? He just posed the question. Why do they shoot to kill and why don't they shoot
I'll tell you what, there's going to be some lawsuits. If you shoot somebody in the shin, and this is a fact, if you get a bullet through the back of your calf, through your shin, and shatters your shin bone, you will walk the rest of your life with a cane.
Well,
and I'm just putting
that
out there.
The thing is he's not walking with a cane at all.
I know, but my point is, if that were to happen, lawsuit city.
So it's cheaper to kill him. You're saying it's cheaper to kill him?
Yeah.
Yikes. Follow the money. Follow the money.
That's what you do. Follow the money.
Wow. Okay, so I don't want to lose the point here.
Okay, sorry.
You have to indulge me while we discuss each of these shootings. So Oklahoma, white female cop kills a black unarmed man in what I consider to be questionable circumstances. There were other options. I think mistakes were made. I think that right now it's a fact that she's going to be charged with manslaughter and all this kind of stuff.
She's been on a force for 5 years.
Okay.
If you're at a job for 5 years, you get pretty good at it.
Oh, I was with Steve for 4, and look at all the stuff I've learned.
Right, as a landscaper.
Yeah.
You've been with Steve. You were with another company for 4 years and started your own business with that knowledge.
Just from the knowledge I learned from that.
Did you have any prior knowledge
Nothing.
of landscaping?
Not a single thing.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I cut grass with a 21-inch push mower when I was like 10 for $5 for my grass.
I did it and wasn't paid. So
what was allowance? But if we didn't cut the grass, we weren't getting an allowance.
Right. Okay, so we've just made the point here on Smyth Radio. If you're on the job for 5 years, fully employed,
think about how much you learn in 4 years in the military.
Yeah, the knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was working. I was sending up aircraft after replacing engines on them.
I'm not calling her a master or a senior or anything like that, but I will say that she probably had enough knowledge and information to train a new recruit coming on board.
I think so.
Okay.
So now that we have a white cop killing an unarmed black man in Oklahoma, the next day, maybe the very next day in North Carolina, we have a black cop killing a armed black man who also is not complying, and I know they say that there's controversy as to whether or not he was armed or not. We'll get to it in a second, why that is a controversy and why seems to be some ambiguity. I will tell you right now, the guy was armed. Okay.
The reason why they stopped the guy in Tulsa is because his vehicle was stopped and it was kind of in the road and something was wrong.
She was responding to some other call. Right. And then he was...
Right. This one in North Carolina, Charlotte, they responded... They were going to serve a warrant to get some guy out of an apartment complex.
Okay.
This guy was sitting in his car.
Like he was waiting to pick up his son from school or something, right?
Something crazy. He was just sitting
Had his wife in the car, too.
He got out of the car, walked around the car, got back in the car, got back out of the car.
And the cops are saying that they saw that he had a gun.
Right.
Then he put the gun in the car.
Right.
And then when they went to go approach him because they saw that he was armed, he went back and got the gun again.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they're screaming at him, and he's not complying. But he's armed. He is armed. And he ends up getting shot by a black cop.
Correct.
Okay, so here we see it seems to be a justified killing, and it was by a black guy, so race should not be an issue here. And yet, when the rioting started, it was exclusively in Charlotte.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And Rush Limbaugh, I hate to give him the credit.
Why? Give it to him. He's a good guy.
No, he is a good guy, and I like him too. My problem is that how on earth did I not think of this first? It's so blatantly obvious. Why is there no rioting in Oklahoma? And why is it so ridiculous in Charlotte? We're talking about a possibly justified mistake, an unjustified mistake by a cop, by a white cop against a black man in Oklahoma, and a justified killing of a black man by another black officer in North Carolina. Why is all of the ridiculous rioting? Last point. 70% of the rioters arrested were from outside of North Carolina.
That is so shocking that George Soros
couldn't find anybody in North Carolina.
Couldn't find anybody in North Carolina. Don't let a crisis go to waste. We have to. Now, help me out here.
But why didn't Soros go to Oklahoma?
Do you have the answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, Rush did.
Okay.
North Carolina is a swing state.
Absolutely.
And Oklahoma
is not.
There is no chance for Hillary to win Oklahoma.
Or Arkansas. I really honestly thought because Bill was governor of Arkansas and they spent a lot of time there looting Arkansas, I thought maybe she had a chance. She didn't done a prayer. But anyways, okay, so yeah, swing state. And North Carolina is a swing state, and currently right now, the new poll numbers, if you will, that are out have Nevada as a swing state, have Trump at 43 in Nevada, Clinton at 40, Johnson at 8. North Carolina, Trump at 45, Hillary at 40.
Yeah, it's a swing state. It's a state that I believe Obama won both times. I believe Bush won both times. So it's definitely a swing state. And it's blatantly obvious. I don't know why. I actually asked myself, why is my answer to why they were rioting in North Carolina and not Oklahoma was that maybe the center of operations of Black Lives Matter was so much closer to North Carolina. And when the two incidences happened, they said, well, it's just going to be a lot easier, quicker, and cheaper to just send everybody to North Carolina. And that it was going to be out of the way to go to Oklahoma. That was my only answer.
Right, because Black Lives Matter is working on a budget, their budget of $3 million from George Soros.
Per person.
No, it's a fact. George Soros has donated up to $3 million to Black Lives Matter. As far as we know, we don't know if he's put money elsewhere to kind of back fund it.
Well, and also when it comes to riots, you want to actually get your money to go a long way because you know the more rioters, the more effective the riot is. So if you have $3 million, you want to maximize the total amount of manpower involved. So you're not going to want to waste money. And it's just so cynical. It's like crazy. So they believe, and by they I mean George Soros, the DNC, and the Hillary campaign, believe that causing the most chaos possible and the most racial division possible in a swing state is going to help them.
I don't see it.
I think it's a calculated mistake.
You know,
it's a Hail Mary.
It is a Hail Mary. And do you know what was trending this week?
What's that?
Law and order candidate.
Oh, wow. Good.
Law and order candidate was trending. Because I actually typed in law and order. Trump says, I'm the law and order candidate. So I typed in law and order, and it came up law and order, SUV, SVU, or whatever that is, the TV show. And then second or third underneath it, it said law and order candidate. So that was pretty cool. I mean, and that's what people want. Go to North Carolina and ask them what they want.
All the people riding there are not from North Carolina.
Right.
The people in North Carolina. Want that. Bill Mitchell lives currently in North Carolina, in Charlotte, and he said, this is a peaceful town. We don't know who the hell these people are.
Wow.
Could you imagine? How must it make you feel? Think about where you live right now. It could be a big city, it could be a small city, but you have a certain amount of pride, kind of that Homer feeling, you know, like this is my city, it's the best city because it's my city.
Hometown feeling.
And you get this army of anti-American, unpatriotic, just savages as far as I'm concerned, who are paid for to come in and destroy your city. It's infuriating.
It's got to be, without a doubt. Here, I've got some stats real quick on where's it? Homicides. There's a website called HeyJackass.com.
Okay.
And it keeps track of homicides out of Chicago. So currently, September to date, shot and killed, 49 shot, 243 wounded. Total shot, 292. Total homicides, 52 in September. So week in progress, so that would be September 18th to the 24th. Shot and killed, 19. Wounded, 79. Total shot, 98. Total homicides, 19. This is one single city. This is Chi-Town. This is Chicago. And I bring this up because they're on a record-breaking season, if you will. Year to date in Chicago, 496 shot, 2,695 total shot. So killed were 400. So almost 500 were killed. 2,700 total shot and didn't die. So total people in Chicago hit from year to date, dead and alive, 3,191. Total homicides, 553.
Yikes.
In Chicago. Dude, we're Chicago alone is eclipsing the wars that we've had recently over the Middle East.
Right. It eclipses 9/11.
Nobody is talking about this. And Chicago literally is the strictest city on gun control next to D.C., and maybe that's it. I don't think I know any other city that is the strictest on gun control. So, but anyways, I bring that up for a point. My point is that this has to be staged, because if it was true rioting over a black man being shot and killed, whether by a cop or not by a cop, that Black Lives Matter, if that was a fact, Black Lives Matter, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Apparently, somebody didn't get the memo in a BLM organization.
I can't imagine after all this time that so many people just don't know. Oh, wow, that many people are being killed in Chicago. I think it's hard for me to believe that there's enough people that don't know that that's a fact.
Year to date in Chicago, 3,200 people shot, dead or alive, 553 homicides. And this is what Whoopi, I'm a weirdo. I got words for her. Here's Whoopi Goldberg on The View.
You know, it was a rough night last night. A lot of angry protests in Charlotte, North Carolina, following the shooting of Keith Lamont Scott. This comes just days after another black man, Terrence Crutcher, was killed by police in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Authorities say both men posed an imminent threat and to responding to officers, but the families say the men were two more examples they feel of Black lives not mattering. So, you know, I guess the question is, what do we do? What do we do about this? Because it seems that it's open. It feels sometimes like it's open season.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Whoopi, let me tell you something. If you spent 7 years in prison for assault with a deadly weapon, and for whatever reason you attracted the attention of cops who you then subsequently completely refused any and all orders that they were giving, then you started doing things that would cause the cops to believe that their life is in imminent danger. You know, it's going to probably be open season on you.
Probably.
You know, on you, not the black race. And I know that's what you want everybody to believe. You want everybody to believe that it's open season on anybody black. But let me tell you something. You're going to have to go ahead and assault somebody with a deadly weapon and get 7 years for it. After you get out, you're going to have to behave in a way in front of cops that you see in these videos and be armed and brandishing a weapon.
I've never been assaulted by a cop.
Well, it's because you have white skin, right? And it's not open season on people that look like you.
Oh, so it's not open season on my kind.
On your kind.
On my kind.
That's what she wants people to believe.
Oh, I'll tell you what. There's millions of Americans that have darker skin than I do that
it's not open season on.
Ever been assaulted by a cop.
Well, there you go.
So this is, I mean, this is what Whoopi does. She loves to stir up the race. She's a liberal. She's a loony. Stir up the racial tensions. Keep the fire breathing. And maybe she really honestly believes deep down inside.
She may.
That this is a fact because she's been taught and brainwashed into believing
what
Obama says.
And these mega celebrities like her, they've been separated from society. All right, these people cannot walk out. And
they live in a bubble.
Yeah.
Right.
And so their experience of the world is through some other channel than reality. So they're either watching stuff on TV, getting it through the news, maybe social media, stuff like that. But they're not walking out amongst the public. So once you become a mega celebrity, your ability to see the real world the way everybody else does just ceases to exist.
The second soundbite will confirm what you just said. Still Whoopi, still going nuts on The View.
This doesn't make sense. Help us understand who you are as police officers so we can help you do your job and we don't feel like you hunting us. Because that's what it feels like sometimes, and I hate that feeling.
Okay, pause.
How about comply with orders?
No, I'm being hunted. I'm an animal.
Oh, so you're like a gazelle and you got to get away.
Right. I am a gazelle.
That's a problem. Whose fault is it that you believe that you're a gazelle that has to run away? Like when the cops tell you to stop, it's almost like they feel like the gazelle. Let's go straight to the desert. All right, you got your lion, you got your gazelle, and the cheetah or not, the lion is saying, "Hey, gazelle, freeze, sucker!" and the gazelle's like, "Okay, I should freeze, right?"
Because he did say freeze.
But wait a minute, it's a trap. It's a trap. I am running. And the thing is like, it's almost like they're, if what she's saying is true, it's almost like they're torn because they're not running away. They're kind of walking slowly to their car. Right. Like, remember Ray Tensing?
Oh,
the DuBose.
Yep. Here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, in Cincinnati there was that. Now, that was a very questionable situation. But what did DuBose do? He slowly reached for the shifter. Oh, he started the car, and then, of course, he got yelled at. And then he reached for the shifter, put it in gear, and just said, you know what, I got to go now or never.
Yeah, and come to find out there are all kinds of drugs in the car.
Yeah, he wasn't running because he thought his life was in imminent danger. He ran because he figured, if I don't, it's just a matter of time before these drugs are found.
We actually had a phone call from somebody at Clifton that said that they knew DuBose.
Yeah.
Said he drove better after he was shot.
No. Oh, well, you know what?
It was shocking. He made it all the way down the street with a bullet in his head.
But it was a steep hill, and presumably his limp carcass like kind of leaned on the gas pedal, right?
Yeah.
Like you're just a limp body at that point. You're like you're dead weight, right?
Yeah, heavy weight.
So went down on the pedal and it took off. In fact, it was floored when he was up against the wall or whatever, the guardrail, whatever it was.
Right.
And they ran up to the car. He was running. He gets up there, and the RPMs are pegged.
Right.
Because
I think the cop even screamed at him, "Why? Why did you make me do this? I didn't want to. Why?"
I don't remember.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Cops are shot. Cops don't like shooting people, folks. I just want to tell you. So a little bit more whooping, we're gonna be done with this one.
I always try to, be positive, but I came in this morning, I was not positive. No. I was not positive. I don't like being like that.
So do you think when the Black Lives Matter thing goes out there and then what the people say White Lives Matter, that shows an insensitivity to the African American community?
To me, wait, no.
She really controls that crowd.
Well, why would the crowd was like, why were they about to clap?
For White Lives Matter?
No. She was sound like the crowd was agreeing that white lives don't matter because the more that we act like they matter, the more we take away from Black lives.
Oh, they got a liberal crowd up in there. I
guess.
Here's what it shows to me. A slight bit of ignorance.
So White Lives Matter is a bit of ignorance, slight bit of ignorance if you say White Lives Matter.
Because it's not about...
They are clapping.
Lives matter. We know it. We've seen it. We see, white suspects doing all kinds of stuff with guns and we don't...
When was the last time you saw a white suspect swinging a gun in the air and not be shot?
There was a clip of a guy getting into an absolute brawl inside of a police station. And they all these armed cops dove on him and it just turned into a big melee. And of course...
The white suspect.
Right.
Okay.
So of course all the Black Lives Matters people in the comment section was like, what is this? We don't know nothing about this. We do something like this and we are dead instantly.
I don't think so. Not in a police station. Dude, they will not shoot you in a police station. I'm telling you. Could you imagine? Police stations are usually bulletproof glass and usually concrete walls, concrete floors. If you discharge a firearm,
you could kill several people.
You could hit a bunch of people with one bullet.
Well, if you remember the beginning part of the movie First Blood, they certainly don't fire inside a police station.
No, they use fire hoses.
But he killed no, he didn't kill anybody, but he beat up everybody on his way out of there.
It was a young Sylvester Stallone, one of the great movies.
He wasn't that young. I don't think there's such thing as young. His first movie's 37.
Yikes.
Anyway.
See them get shot instantaneously, but we do.
So you see black people get shot instantaneously?
No, not until they're not complying for a while, or they do something in complete defiance of what the cops ordered.
No, it's instantaneous.
It's
She's instantaneous. Well, what she was saying is you don't see white people, unlike black people, get shot instantaneously. Meaning that black people get shot
because
instantaneously.
the media definitely wouldn't show any of that.
No.
I think they went on a nationwide search for an incident in a swing state that was going to get the narrative off of all this anti-Hillary stuff.
Oh, her health?
Yeah.
Her mental state? And folks, we're going to get to that. There's a bunch of
and before we get, I don't want to get into that, but what I'm saying is this. There's going to be people out there, there's oh, right, Hillary does not have enough power to get an innocent cop to shoot an unarmed man just to help out her situation. That may be true, and I say may be true. That may be true. However,
been able to kill a lot of other people.
Think about all the thousands of different incidences that happen across the country, and then you have a nationwide army of people whose job it is to sift through all of that and find the nugget that's going to help them.
Right.
There's cops that shoot people all the time. Sometimes it's a mistake. Sometimes it's right. They found 2 of them that weekend. One was in Oklahoma and one was in North Carolina. Which one did they pick and why?
And not only that, but how long have they been looking?
They may have been days.
I'm sure they might have been weeks.
They may have put
waiting,
the AP right.
Waiting.
We've got the APB out now. Keep it under wraps. But if you're in the media, you're part of the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party.
CNN, MSNBC.
Your job right now, it's going to be the top priority. Scour the entire country for every single police incident. If it involves a cop shooting a black man, doesn't matter. What does it have to be a white cop? Nope. Does the guy have to be armed? Doesn't matter.
No,
doesn't
none
matter.
Of that
He
matters.
could be armed. Does he have to be unarmed? No. He could be armed. Just give us the incident. We'll take it from there. And that's exactly what they did in Charlotte.
He doesn't have to die either, but you got 2 dead? Whoa! We got them both. Get them.
Well, they said, well, which one should we pick? Because they ran with the Oklahoma one at first.
Right.
And then they said, whoa. Let's act like the Oklahoma thing didn't happen. For the most part.
Right.
Because we need to focus on North Carolina because that's the state that we need Black Lives Matters turn out to voters' polls. And by the way, let's get out the tents. We're going to start registering people. They're get them all fired up.
Oh, yeah.
That's
absolutely.
Exactly what happened.
And the biggest reason why I started to get into the Tulsa, Oklahoma shooting, first off, is because that was a white on black.
Right.
White woman on black, and
it was much more relevant.
Right, I started scratching my head. I'm like, "What is going? What about Tulsa?"
It's a lot more relevant.
So I shifted gears on the Tulsa, and yeah, that's why I know some of that information about that cop.
Does it make more sense now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so weird. A white cop kills an unarmed black man under very questionable circumstances as far as the correctness of her actions, the cop's actions, as opposed to North Carolina. It just looks like, you got this guy with a criminal record that just acting a fool again, and this black cop decided that he's got to go through protocol and did what he did, and it seemed like a legit thing, and And the media was like, oh, hell no. And we're like, huh? What?
Right.
What about Oklahoma? Well, yeah, we care about that too. But no, North Carolina, everybody get there. They said there was caravans of planes coming in full of media from all over the nation.
Right.
They're all flying in.
Hundreds of people on the streets rioting. Curfew was put in play. The liberal left-wing governor of North Carolina, she apparently, I saw a lot of stuff online. Apparently, she's not very good at her job and what she does, but she eventually called in the National Guard to show up. Curfew put in place. Rioters said, I don't like your curfew. We ain't abiding by that.
That tells me they're professionals.
Lord.
We had a riot here in Cincinnati in 2001. It was in the summer or spring maybe, leading up to 9/11. It was before 9/11. And our mayor put in a curfew, and I think it rained that night, and that was the end of those riots. It was over. It was a cold, rainy night. And, oh, by the way, during the worst parts of the riots, it was unseasonably warm in the spring. It was after a harsh winter. We had unseasonably warm weather. Riots were just going like crazy in Cincinnati. And then we had a curfew. We had the National Guard come down. We had rain, and that was it. No arrests and all that night. It was over.
Wide earth, huh? Heard of you.
Listen now, Mr. Kansas law dog. Law don't go around here. Savvy?
What is that? Wide earth.
There's a Tombstone. I cannot. That line that he says, I think of that all the time when I think of these Democrats, when they look you right in the face. I'm a dirty, rotten scoundrel. Hey, law dog, Mr. Kansas City law dog. Law don't go around here. Savvy? I mean, that's what the protesters were saying.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, people interviewed all this week that were pro-Black Lives Matter. Several of them were saying that the black community can and should police themselves.
Okay,
how's that working for you in Chicago?
Oh, no.
I think they got to be policing themselves because of all those people being killed. I've never heard of them being that these are cop on citizen kills.
You don't hear anybody about
this.
This
is them policing themselves in Chicago, and this is what you got. It's almost like St. Valentine's Day up in there.
Yikes!
Like, hey, y'all get up against the wall. We find you guilty.
Right. Just start mowing people down.
I guess. I mean, that seems like what's going on. That's policing yourselves, and I don't know. It's just that's ridiculous. Saying that the solution is the police. What is that? A no-go zone?
Whoa! I mean, you see how that's working out in Europe. I believe it's either is it England? England has no-go zones
somewhere out there
where you are not.
Sweden.
Yeah,
Sweden has
you're
no-go
not
zone.
allowed to go. That's where the Muslims live.
Right.
No go. Don't go in there.
Yeah, they said if you go in the wrong place at the wrong time, you could actually get beat up there if you're not Muslim.
Right.
I'm not saying just anybody. When they find out you're not a Muslim, then yeah, you could get beat up in those no-go zones. It's actually been reported that kind of stuff happens.
Right.
And definitely get verbally assaulted for sure.
Oh, there's no question.
They scream out at you and whatnot.
Imagine walking through there with a cross around your neck and a Bible in hand.
I think you might be better off with a cross than like a Star of David.
Oh,
it's true.
Oh, that would be
true. The big thing is, Muslims may hate Christians, but they really, really do not like Jews.
No,
it's as simple as that. And that stems from the whole Israel-Palestine thing. It's not like they're all a bunch of Hitlers. It's just that there's a particular disdain for Jews because of what's going on with the whole Palestine.
And it's something that a lot of people aren't talking about. By the way, folks, look back in history. Who was tight and good friends with Adolf Hitler and his henchmen?
And who would that be?
Islamic State, Muslims.
Interesting.
Teaching Hitler how to exterminate in a quick manner. They're saying that they had a huge influence on Hitler towards the Jews.
Well, now you got people in Iran who are praising the former, Hitler, and also denying the Holocaust, saying, Hitler didn't do that stuff.
That never happened.
Right.
It was actually us. We did it. They want to take credit for it.
They're mad. They're like, no, we don't let a non-Muslim upstage us.
So you can't.
When it comes to exterminating Jews, we are not going to let somebody else take more credit than us. Wow.
Oh, so painful. Well, there was more of that soundbite, but I'm done with Whoopi. She's looking really bad these days. I know she's getting older, but she's looking real bad, and she's jerking a lot, like Michael J. Fox.
She have Parkinson's?
She might. She looks like she's doing a lot of herky-jerky stuff. But it's just a shame that those riots went down that way. It's a shame that they got involved. It really is. It's tragic for this country for those kinds of things to be played out. And by the way, did you hear what Obama said about the shootings and all that stuff?
About, I don't know, maybe I didn't.
No, I didn't either.
Okay.
They say he was out playing golf. They were wanting him to weigh in on the riots and like, man, get involved, help us stop these, say something.
Yeah. Well, the thing is this is part of the plan, right?
Yeah, no, he said you don't need a 10-4 hat for this now. We've had 7.5 years of this most racist, race-baiting, racist leader trying to cause more racial... Think about it. Go all the way back to Bush. All the way back to Bush. Are we more of a divided country than a united country?
You have to have been an adult during the 90s and through 2008 to realize how far we have fallen when it comes to race relations in America. I mean, in the 90s, I would say all the way back to 92. You know what happened with the Rodney King situation in 91 or 92?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was considered pretty bad. When the news got out, and by the way, here's what you need to know. The L.A. cops had this institutionalized racist thing going on there where they were targeting minorities. There were all these stories of cops would pick up a black suspect, and they wouldn't take him to the station. They would drop him off in a Mexican neighborhood where they hated blacks, and he would get beat up there.
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of stuff was happening.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was really bad. But here's the thing. This is not a nationwide problem. We had a problem in one city. There was a problem in L.A. And then finally it came to a head when the Rodney King thing happened where he was caught on tape beating down Rodney King. A bunch of cops were beating him down.
Right.
And, of course, they say he was on drugs and all that kind of stuff. But clearly, based on the video, that the beating was excessive. They were beating on him when they could have just been arresting him.
Whoa. That's not what the court said.
Oh, right, because they let all the... So they were charged.
Let free.
Right, they did let them all free, which clearly that means that the judge was in on it too, right?
Whoa, the beatings? I think the judge was in the background. Let me get a kick.
Well, he was condoning it.
Yeah, true.
So, of course, that led to this huge uprising, and then they had a Time magazine article and all this kind of stuff. And then you had the L.A. riots, And then a truck driver driving his truck got stopped by the giant mob, the giant crowd. Reginald Denny got a rock to the head, literally got
beaten
beat up
to the brink of death. White guy.
Yeah, I think he got brain damage and everything.
Oh, I'm sure.
When they interviewed him, he was messed up.
Right.
Then finally Rodney King comes out and says, "Can't we all just get along?"
Well, yeah, because he's looking at this like, oh, my God. No, I didn't want all this to go down. I mean, I did get beat, and I got some money out of it and everything, and I'm alive, I'm fine, but good Lord, y'all. And if you go to L.A. and you talk to people who live in L.A. about that, they burned their own town.
Yeah, L.A.'s huge, right?
They looted and burned black businesses, black areas.
It was like South Central, wasn't it?
Yeah, South Central, which is now referred to as El Centro.
Okay.
It is no longer black. It is completely taken over.
Yeah, that's another fascinating phenomenon, like black flight, right?
Right.
You got your white flight. This was black flight. If you look at movies like all the movies from those early 90s. You got your Boys in the Hood, you got your Menace to Society, you got Friday. All these movies, like South Central was nothing but black people for the most part.
Right.
You go there now, and there's not any black families there, right? It's like all Mexican families. So it was like this big transition there. But anyway, we've got off on a tangent there. So the race relations seem like they weren't too good during the riots of South Central. However, that was one city, nowhere else in the country. This was not something that can be extrapolated across other cities. This was an exclusive LA thing,
right.
Period. I don't even think this kind of stuff was happening in adjacent cities like your San Diegos and stuff like that. And it certainly wasn't happening in any other city in the whole country. But so once that happened, I mean, I'm telling you right now, Brian, you could remember this. From like the late 80s all the way up to maybe like 96 or something like that. Like 90% of all the sitcoms on the air were black families.
Yeah.
It's like you got your it started with the Cosby Show.
I'm going to be honest with you. It was so inundated. That was the decade I stopped watching TV.
I actually was entertained by it. But you could tell.
One thing, but I felt like they were trying to jam something down my throat. Like,
if it came from L.A., you would see why they're trying. It's like they're overcompensating for the L.A. riots or something like that. Like
now, it's turned to a lot of Hispanics on TV.
Yeah. I guess if you started with George Lopez and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so here's the thing. All of those black sitcoms that were on mainstream medias, your NBCs, your CBSs, your ABCs, all these were all streaming into white houses, white families, and they were watching this stuff. And I'm going to tell you, I think it really went a long way to helping race relations. You know, even in Living Color. You know,
I love that show.
Yeah, I mean, that show obliterated Saturday Night Live.
Oh, dude.
Totally obliterated it. And so I believe that race relations were probably getting to about the best they've ever been in all of American history. And everything seemed like fine in the 90s and then in the 2000s. Obviously, there was probably some more to go, but it was fine. It was coming along. And Obama just completely destroyed it. He set back race relations in America a minimum of 50 years.
Easily.
Early in his presidency, I said 50 years. Now it might be 150 years.
Like, I don't know how you recover from this. It's just
I think you could recover. You take somebody like Trump, who, I'm going to be honest with you, and by the way, he did grow up during the era that this would apply to him. He seems kind of colorblind when it comes to race. He's like, black church? All right, let's go meet some people in the black church.
You're talking about Trump?
Yeah. He's like colorblind.
Okay.
Well, back in the day...
Well, check this out.
Back in the day, this would be before our generation, it'd be more like a baby boomer generation. There was this movement back in like the 60s to be a colorblind America.
Right.
Where racism mattered. And that was all from from Martin Luther King.
Right.
With Martin Luther King, it was all like, let's not judge each other on the color of your skin, but the content of your character.
When he was shot, when Martin Luther King was shot and killed, what was he doing? He was at a predominantly white coal mine helping white people to unionize.
And by the way, the Selma thing, I don't know, maybe Selma or something similar to Selma. The reason it got as popular as it did is because a whole bunch of white Christian missionaries from all over the country said, we need to help these people.
You know, Condoleezza Rice was down there as a child.
I didn't know that. Okay.
One of the first blacks to go to school.
Well, there was all these religious leaders and religious followers, white,
right,
from all over the country that went down. I don't know if it was Selma, but it was a march similar to that, and a bunch of them got arrested. There's arrest records of all these whites from all over the country that went down to help Martin Luther King. So all that stuff that Martin Luther King was doing was helping race relations. It was a really good thing. And it's like that colorblind society that he was trying to create just went away. Now it's all about, well, I feel like, you know, you don't understand my experience because I grew up as a black man. It's like, why should I have to understand the experience of black people in the past that you feel like you need to extrapolate because you also have black skin. Why don't we go back to a colorblind society, or at least to strive to that?
Yeah.
Strive to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's nonsense, especially in the day and age that we live in with technology. I mean, any black man can start an internet radio show and wind up on iHeartRadio. Any black man, Wayne Dupree, become very successful. Have Sean Hannity call into his internet radio show, ask him how he's doing.
He had Donald
Trump
on. He had Donald Trump on.
Had the Don on. And so it's just, we live in a day and age where there doesn't have to be this divide. It doesn't have to be there, but it is there, and it's forced there. The news media that's beholden to Hillary Clinton and the left, and Obama's 7.5 years of just absolute, utter destruction of what was built from the past. He has literally destroyed
it's been
everything.
Better. A big, huge lie, and it comes from somebody that we know really well. I'll talk about it off the air.
I probably know who you're talking about.
You probably know who I'm talking about. But no, he's just parroting something that a lot of people around him are saying, and that is, it's a lie that we've gotten worse. It's always been this bad. Race relations has always been this bad. It's just now coming to the forefront. BS.
No, I'm
BS.
not buying it.
You've got to be an old racist, which, by the way, this person's not, to believe that that's a fact.
Okay.
Because people my age who grew up through the 90s and all that stuff, we know that race relations were great.
I did not go to a school that was 50-50 black. I went to a school that was predominantly all white, and it was out in the suburbs.
In the sticks.
And it was back then. It was. Well, but we didn't have the integration, and I still had a positive outlook towards the black community. I didn't have a negative outlook because I guess what I'm saying is you don't need to integrate schools to force people to like each other. My daughter, even now today, and it's a taught thing. Racism is a taught, learnt
absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely.
My daughter at the age of 5 at church met another girl that was 5 that happened to be black and loved her. They got along. And to this day, 2 years later, they're like best friends. And when she first met her, she would say, "Oh, Abby." And we know like 3 or 4 Abbies. It's like my brown skin friend or my brown friend. I'm like, oh, okay, whoa. We don't need to say brown. Just we'll call her.
And it's a shame that you have to say that to her, because in a truly non-racist society, you would be able to identify one of several Abbies by their skin color if she was darker than the rest.
Right, or
there would be no hurt feelings.
Right, or Abby with red hair, or Abby with the Abby with dark hair.
Whoa, we do not refer to people by their hair color, okay? You need to be more sensitive to the
Do you know Abby
with
gingers with the whoa, or Abby with the purple hair? You know, the one that's the emu, the one that's out there.
It's emo, not emu.
Emo.
Emotional.
I think emu is an actual animal.
I don't know. There's an Elmo. Maybe Elmo. I don't know.
Oh, so wrapping up and putting the last tie-ups on the rioting. There were 12 officers that were injured. There was a rider that was shot and killed, died later on at the police station. One officer was hit with a rock. I mean, they were
throwing boulders off of the highway overpass.
Yeah, down on other. Yeah, I mean, this was definitely, and so it was reported by some of the news media that they heard the rioters chanting "Black Lives Matter," "Hands up, don't shoot," "Stop killing us." Chanting, "Stop killing us," "Hands up, don't." I mean, these are the things that Whoopi Goldberg said. We had his hands up.
I got a question for you, Brian. What's the end game in a situation where cops are trying to arrest a suspect that's not complying at all with any of the commands, and who is then making way to an area that the cops really don't want him to go, which is back in the car? What's the end game here? I mean, I guess if you could taser him and subdue him that way, that's fine. But, I mean, when you say "stop killing us," I'm not doing this group thing. I'm all about, let's look at each individual basis, and I don't have to know what their skin color is to discuss this. We got a guy that's just refusing to comply with orders, who has a huge rap sheet.
Right.
Not complying with. What is the end game? What are you trying? Does it have to get into a big old wrestling match, and whoever gets pinned is the winner? And by the way, if the cop loses, the guy gets to go free? Is that what kind of society we want? Let's just have a boxing ring set up and say, all right, we have a cop in one corner, and we have a suspect who he wants to arrest in the other corner. Suspect does not want to be arrested. Ding, ding, ding. We got to have a wrestling match. Whoever wins, or boxing match, whichever one you want, or an MMA. Let's just get the octagon. Winner gets to go free.
Back in the day, way back, I think like 1,000 years ago, during the Dark Ages, there was a law on the books that said if you could pull yourself out of the guillotine before the blade comes down to chop your head off and run to the center of town, you were free. One guy did it, and he was young. He was a young kid when he did it. And by the time he was like 50, 60, because he told the story to everybody, by 40 years later, people didn't believe him. They stopped believing him. It's a lie. So he said, I'll prove it.
Oh, no.
Didn't work out so good the second time around.
You never want to tempt fate twice.
No. So let's talk about Donald Trump and his race relations with Don King this week. Well, back during the Republican debates, remember he was giving a town hall speech, and he'd say, "Hey, my friend up there."
Oh, my African American. Hey, look over there. It's my African American.
I got one of them,
Boy,
too.
they really... I got one of those, too. I got one.
Yeah.
Oh, the liberals loved that.
And you know what? He should have said, hey, look. My...
What? N-word?
Yeah, why not?
I think we talked about that. He probably would have been better off.
Well,
not only props.
Not only that, but if he rolled hardcore like that, which he can.
You got to own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to own it.
The community would be like, is he?
Well, the
so
funny
he's
thing,
down?
Well, the liberals would have been like, oh, it's over. We got him. It's over. And then they would be shocked
to realize.
To find out that they were dead wrong.
Right. So Don King has a questionable past. I understand that, but he
was the guy that ruined a lot of... He was the duffel bag guy.
Right. He ruined Mike Tyson.
Ago.
He ruined Mike Tyson.
Oh, he ruined Mike Tyson. But part of the Mike Tyson and Tiger Woods have a lot in common. Mike Tyson had Cuz D'Amato. That was the guy that kind of, for the most part, unofficially adopted him.
And he looked like Mickey from Sylvester Stallone's movies Rocky.
Yeah.
He was that old. He was.
Oh, my
gosh.
gosh. He was like 130 years old.
Right.
Yeah, and he had like no hair, and like his face looked like a catcher's mitt from the 20s.
Oh, yes.
So, so when he was alive, I mean, you got to give him pretty much all the credit in the world for what he was able to rise Mike Tyson to be able to do. You know, the skills
and
the
having control and respect and not getting into trouble.
Gosh. Look at some of the early post-fight interviews of Mike Tyson. He's like the all-American kid. He's like really great interviews.
Like you'd probably believe if he said, "Oh yeah, and I go to church every Sunday," you'd be like, "Oh, I believe you."
Yes, absolutely. And look at him towards the end. I eat his children.
I know.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
He said that to Lennox Lewis. I'll eat his children. Funny thing is, Lennox Lewis had no children.
Right,
so.
and everybody kept, what does that mean, Mike? That means I'll eat them.
Yeah,
if he had any.
He ended up eating an ear.
He ate both of his ears.
Oh, did he get both?
But apparently that's popular in boxing. If somebody keeps headbutting you, it's popular to bite their ear.
So that's happened more
Not off, but it's popular to just...
You want to make it hang out. Actually spit it out, and it was on the mat.
Right.
Somebody took a close-up picture of it. It's on the front of Time magazine or something.
So if Cuz D'Amato had lived to be 150, that would have never happened.
Oh, Mike Tyson he'd probably just be retiring from having all the belts. Yeah, seriously. So fast forward, you got Tiger Woods. His dad was the Cuz D'Amato.
Oh, yeah.
And he always kept Tiger Woods in line, trained him well. From 3 years old, he had him swinging a golf club, just going nuts with it. And then eventually, he had an untimely early death. And it wasn't very long at all that Tiger Woods just was done with it. And he's never recovered, just like Mike Tyson. Everybody always thought, oh, Mike Tyson will get it back. He'll get his discipline back, and he'll make a big comeback. Because like Ali's done that. Ali has had his roller coaster career.
I look, George Foreman.
Yeah,
the oldest comeback kid,
right,
in boxing.
Right, he found his discipline again. He got his head back together, and then he won the championship again. And then Ali did it. You look at Tyson. You got the Cus D'Amato. You got I don't remember what Tiger Woods' dad's name is, but
Woods,
something, Mr. Woods, Mr. Woods. They all had their untimely deaths, and then that was the end of it. So
yeah, Tiger Woods isn't doing very well.
He never will. It's over.
That's all done.
It's over.
So Don King, back to Don King. So Don King,
he took.
I don't know if it was
he was the duffel bag guy.
He sponsored this, or he had something to do with this get together with.
He's a promoter,
and he's promoting now Donald Trump.
Well, he's not hired to do it. The thing about Don King,
he's doing it willingly for free.
That's shocking.
Well, listen to
what Don King doesn't do nothing for free.
Well, listen to what he says, and then you'll be like, wow. In his old age, now he's got his head on right, because I think he's in 80.
He's got to be really old.
I think Don King's close to 80.
He had the gray flame haircut back in like the 90s. And it's like 20 years later.
He was born in 31.
Oh, wow. He's getting up there. 70, 80.
101. Yeah, 2011, he was 80.
So he's 85.
Yeah, we're math professionals here. Dude, he's up there. So, anyway, so he's at this event, and he takes...
I can't believe that he would not have a contract signed with Trump to do anything.
I don't know, man.
And I'm only saying that not because of Trump.
Because of who Don King is.
Yeah, Don King was the master of getting the worst contract signed of all time.
Well, it would be the best for him, but the worst for the guy.
He destroyed boxers. Hasim Rahman.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that upset Lennox Lewis.
Right.
And what happened with him was he was Lennox Lewis's Buster Douglas.
Right.
For those of you who don't remember, Mike Tyson was undefeated. Buster Douglas was
a nobody.
18-1 underdog.
Yeah, nobody.
Largest underdog of all time. Mike Tyson ends up losing to him, and the rest is history. Fast forward to Lennox Lewis being champion. Hasim Rahman comes along, shocks him, huge underdog, beats him. Well, he was a free agent right after he beat Lennox Lewis.
So who swooped him up?
So it turns out there was a huge bidding war. People were offering millions and multi-million dollars to do 3-fight deals with him. Just 3 fights, $25 million, whatever, right? Guess what Don King does? And this is where the whole duffel bag thing comes from. He shows up at his hotel room.
That's standard. Yeah.
He has an actual duffel bag. This is a true story. A duffel bag with $500,000 cash. He drops it on the table in the hotel and says, this could be yours. I could walk out of here and leave this if you sign this horrendous contract. Basically, I'll give you the short of it. The contract said that you can make as much as, I think, $40 million, but you have to win all 3 of your next fights, the first of which is a rematch with Lennox Lewis. If you don't win those 3 matches, you get the duffel bag's yours no matter what.
You keep that.
If you don't win your 3 matches, you get like $25,000. I'll see you later. Something stupid like that. And he was like, "You mean I could have the $500,000 now and a possibility for $40 million?"
And no questions asked about the $500,000.
Yeah, no matter what, he gets to keep that. You know what it was? The duffel bag just completely took him off his game.
If I saw a duffel bag full of $500,000,
but he was offered $25 million from other people, guaranteed for the most part.
You need to have your head on straight.
Wow. So that's the duffel bag. When I talk about duffel bag, I'm specifically talking about Don King.
Right. So here's Don King.
America needs Donald Trump. We need Donald Trump, especially black people. Because you got to understand, my black brothers and sisters, they told me, you got to try to emulate and imitate the white man, and then you can be successful. So we tried that. So you say, if you can get some money, you can do this here. I told Michael Jackson, I said, if you're poor, you are a poor Negro. I would use the N-word. But if you're rich, you are a rich Negro. If you are intelligent, intellectual, you're an intellectual Negro. If you are dancing and sliding and gliding, Negro, you are dancing and sliding and gliding, Negro. So dare not alienate.
What was he getting to a point?
Oh, the article said, and Don King's erratic diversion and incoherent ramblings of talking to Michael Jackson. So it was just him going off on a tangent talking about the black community and black people in general and how he has talked to famous black people making a come up and letting them know, hey, you know, if you're doing this, this, and this, you will always have that stigma of being black this. Oh, hey, you're an engineer? Okay, you're a black engineer. So you're black before your talent. So
okay.
So your color, your skin is your surname. Your surname.
It's like your identity, I guess. Okay.
Instead of saying Mr. Kerry, it would be Black Kerry.
Okay.
And so that was his whole point. And not his whole point, but the point that he was getting to was that Donald Trump ain't like that. And that's why the black community needs Donald Trump.
So I was right. He's colorblind for the most part.
Not only that, but they come from two similar eras. I mean, there's 70
absolutely.
and 85. I mean, that's kind of that
no,
whole
it's only
era.
15 years off. That's the same age difference as me and Bill Mitchell.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same exact age difference.
So you've got those two old dogs that remember the color blindness and how you could get to that era of color blindness. And now they're seeing this.
Well, I met Omarosa, and she's the star from The Apprentice. And the way she talks about Donald Trump.
Omarosa is the woman.
Yeah.
That.
Very controversial because there was all kinds of fighting and all that stuff during the show, which, by the way, shockingly, because I didn't know her before, the time I met her a couple weeks ago, she's the sweetest girl in the world. She's so nice.
And the left, during the the Republican primaries, the left made comments about her on The Apprentice and about some of the they try to turn it into a sexual, racial thing between her and Trump.
Okay.
Which was so bad at one time that she literally came out on Fox News and we played the soundbite on the show and did like a 1-2 minute interview and literally just laid it out as a black woman. Donald Trump has been the most influential on me, has been the greatest, the most heartfelt. And then she went into some of the great things that he had done and some of the things of his past. But anyways, I just wanted you to know Omarosa if you don't remember who she is. So
yeah,
go ahead. So you met her.
Yeah, and I could just tell by the way she would talk about Donald Trump that color means nothing at all. And it kind of radiates onto her because she isn't worried about the fact that she's a minority. It's not a thing. It's, hey, I'm bringing this to the table. And I think that the problem is, and it's just something that gets beat into the black community from an early age through our education system or propaganda system, if you want to call it that, where that your skin color is always going to define you. And you got somebody like Omarosa who has been working for very powerful billionaire Donald Trump, and somehow it's radiated off of her onto her that, hey, you don't have to be defined by your skin color. Instead, what you have is a very intelligent person who's able to bring to the table things of value. Right. And that's all that matters to her now. And it's not fake. It's not like, well, I know they say that you're bringing value, but really you're just a token black person, right? But it's not like that. She actually does bring a lot of value, which is why he chose her. When she was auditioning for The Apprentice, she kind of caught his attention by saying something that shocked everybody else in the boardroom. And you know what Donald Trump said afterwards? I need to learn more about her. We need to maybe see if there's a possibility we can find a spot for her on the show. Why? Because if she could get noticed by him, that she's going to bring a lot to the television show that's trying to get ratings.
Absolutely.
And he was absolutely right. She ended up being the absolute star, and she went on to be on The Celebrity Apprentice, which, by the way, she wasn't a celebrity until The Apprentice. So she ended up going on to The Celebrity Apprentice with actual real celebrities, right? Like your Gary Busey and all those people. You remember that? Oh, my gosh. How do you, like, oh, you're fired. You're fired. Oh, I love it. So, yeah, that's, I can't wait. I hope that sometime in my lifetime, before I die, I'm able to say, you know what? We finally arrived to a satisfactory point in American history, at least satisfactory to my perspective, that blacks and whites can live together and just judge each other by the content of their character and not the color of their skin.
Amen, brother.
I mean, I hate to steal lines,
Which
but
it's not stealing, it's just reiterating because people have such a short memory.
Yeah.
How short of a memory do you have when you can't remember last week?
What happened last week?
Hillary Clinton coming out for her first talk, rally, whatever you want to call it, after the face plant.
Right.
Shows up at Temple University.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They said there was less than 200 people there.
I saw a picture, somebody from the media, and I'm presuming, actually it was a liberal, because it was on Twitter, and I clicked on their name, and I started looking down, and this guy is part of the propaganda machine. He used a ultra-wide angle fisheye lens. It looks like he was looking through a peephole of a hotel door.
Right.
Like one of those fisheye lenses. And he stood right at the back of the last row and snapped a photo of the entire thing, facing towards the front. Nobody was there yet. It was all empty. But, I'm sorry. I said that wrong. The seats were filled. But she wasn't up on stage yet. It was like right before she came on.
I think I saw that picture.
Yeah. All the seats were filled, because you can see. But it was a high-quality picture. So what I did was I zoomed way in. I did the pinch zoom, got in, and I was scrolling around. And I decided I'm going to count the chairs.
Empty?
Well, no, they were all full. But I could see. I could see the heads.
Could possibly fill?
No, I could see all the chairs. The fisheye lens allowed for every chair to be in the photograph.
Wow.
So all I needed to do was count across for the amount in the row and how many rows there were. You won't believe it. This is a whole room now. 20 chairs across, 5 rows.
No.
I counted
That's
it.
100.
That's 100. But there was a bunch of people standing off to the side on one side, and there were some people like above the stage.
Okay.
And when I mean some, there was like 8. There was 8 above the stage, and there was probably as many as 25 that were off to the right.
You could actually, above the stage.
There's like this weird catwalk.
There's a weird catwalk and a weird balcony, and they had students hanging over, looking down on her.
Like they could spit on her.
Or they could fall down, right.
You ever do that thing where you hawk a loogie and you make it stretch way down and they pull it back up?
Right.
Yeah. Well, they were doing that.
Wow, because that's what you do in college. Pretty much. That's
nowadays.
Right. Nowadays. So literally nobody shows up. Somebody tweeted out on Twitter. They said they went there to the rally, but the only people that were allowed inside were VIP only. And she said that she had to be carted off to. I'm sorry. She was moved to another room where they could view a flat screen of Hillary. They were not allowed to be in that arena.
Yeah, because you don't want too many witnesses.
That's what I'm thinking. She said in that room was less than 100 people, and there were less than 200 people that came to see her. You would think her first rally after the faceplant, people would be clamoring to see if she could even stand.
I would be doing that.
Guess who went there? Waters World.
Oh, really?
Waters. Jesse Waters.
Okay.
So he went there and he tweeted out a picture of the rally before it was getting ready to happen.
Okay.
And there was like kind of like a open waiting room, like an auditorium where people were supposed to show up and wait to come in, students. There was one student, female, with Hillary gear on, sitting down on the floor, leaning back against the wall, sleeping.
Oh, I saw that picture.
Yes. He said this is the enthusiasm of the rally to come.
If you were going to dress up as a social justice warrior for Halloween, this is exactly the way you would look. She had the short, mushroom-looking haircut.
Right.
She was real dumpy looking as far as just disheveled, and the kind of clothes, it just looked ridiculous. And she was just laid out. She was wearing like cargo shorts.
Yeah, just sleeping one off. I know Hillary's rally's to begin soon, and the noise and the ruckus will wake me up.
Oh, I could see that.
So I'm ready to roll.
She was cramming and she was lack of sleep deprived.
That's possible. So how about Donald Trump?
What about him?
Did you hear about his rallies?
Well, yeah, they're always just jam-packed, like tens of thousands.
They are breaking records in almost every venue that he goes to.
I mean, he might as well just go big.
Tens, when I say tens of thousands, between 8 to 12,000. Some of the pictures of these arenas are they're huge venues.
They're doing it used to be that you would do a ballroom, that you would get
at a hotel.
Hotel ballroom. And
if
they have
ever been
partition.
in network marketing.
Actually, I went to Herman Cain.
Oh, was his like that?
Well, it was at a Sheridan up in.
The big Sheridan in Sharonville.
Yes, it was at that one, and they have partitions and all that kind of stuff. So, of course, he had the partitions all up, and except for the press and about a dozen people who are like handlers, I think I may have actually been the only person to show up. It was at 8 in the morning on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday, yeah.
It's like Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock. Oh, it was ridiculous.
So Hillary's camp put up the partitions to make the room look small. Well,
bigger.
To make the room look bigger.
Makes it look fuller.
Yeah, fuller.
Right.
And then there were certain areas where there was no partitions, but there wasn't anybody there. And they black those out. They shut the lights out and they black that out.
Right. Sometimes they can put up curtains real quick.
And the latest trick that she's been employing?
Oh, the green screen. I saw that. That is so scandalous.
She did mention Alex Jones earlier in her racist clip. Carrie and I both agree Alex Jones can go straight nut job.
Somebody said something about what's going on with InfoWars that looks legit. They said that because there are some heavy hitters there. The Paul Watson,
and that's
I think,
he's expanded.
Superstar. I think Paul Watson is a star as far as I'm concerned.
Follow him on Twitter.
Really I think that those people, like your Joe Biggs, Paul Watson, I think those guys are great, and a couple of the blonde girl. I can never remember what her name is. She's really good, and there's a new blonde girl. There's a new one. She's really smoking.
She went to the Hillary Clinton rally before she did the faceplant, and it was an outdoor venue, kind of like at a like a
park or
something. Like a park or something. And she walked around it. She's like, "This place is empty. This place is a ghost town. I can't get. Nobody knows where she is." And there's the empty stool. That's where that came from. Hillary's. It trended on Twitter. #Hillary's stool.
I thought that was Mike Cernovich started that. Or you think that Mike got it from her?
Yeah, Mike probably started it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But her whole thing was, look, and there's Hillary's stool.
Oh, right. So, so that being said, I heard somebody say that all these people, all these new InfoWars people are trying to distance themselves from Alex Jones, which is why you don't see him in the limelight as much. Not because he's getting lazy and he's not going out and doing stuff. I think there's like this agreement. Hey, look, Alex, why don't you go ahead and we'll blow up InfoWars over here, and you just kind of stay quiet, okay? Just please.
I think, well, probably, but I think Alex knows. He's a smart guy. I think he knows that he needed to expand his operation. Add more relevant, younger.
Oh, he brought on some
younger,
awesome guys,
very, very heavy hitters,
to
really blow up InfoWars. So now, when I see InfoWars, I don't recoil.
No, me either.
I don't recoil anymore.
I'm totally cool with InfoWars now. Yeah. When it was just what it used to be, if it was InfoWars, it was just Alex Jones, and that was it. There was nobody else.
Right.
And it was just like, oh gosh, some of the things were
so
painful.
one of the InfoWars reporters exposed Hillary Clinton's green screen operation.
Right.
And he did a thing on YouTube, and he said, I don't have answers to these questions. If any of you watching this, I'll go through it. I'll go through her whole thing. If you are watching this, please help me out and explain what the heck is going on. Okay. So the video starts of Hillary Clinton's rally, and she comes from stage right. And as she's walking up the rally, the people in the front row or in the row, they've got their cameras in the air, and they're videotaping Hillary's entrance. You would think.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, it sounds normal to me.
But when you zoom in, when you take a picture still frame of that video, and you zoom into each one of those people's cameras, the picture on their cameras are all the same, and none of it. There's no flag, there's no red, there's no Hillary, there's none of that stage in their cameras.
So they CGI'd it?
Yes, they put those people in it because those people are probably from that back room watching the flat screen.
Interesting. Okay.
And then, which is just unbelievable, Hillary's coming back. She's dizzy. She's being helped up by Secret Service. You saw that picture. She's at an outdoor arena rally. She's kind of got her left shoulder towards the crowd. She's kind of twisted a little bit. And behind her, Secret Service has a firm grip on her arm.
It's literally Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, it is that way now. And then the thing at Temple University, they were helping her up the stairs again at Temple University.
Yeah.
So, but this telling moment, Hillary turns to what we, the viewer, are watching, turns to the back of her, points and waves at what we see is a flat screen, like her symbol. And there's curtains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So she points and waves to curtains.
She does?
Yes.
They would have had to prompt her to do that or something.
Or tell her, just wave anywhere, and we'll put people in where you wave.
Oh, that makes sense. They post-production.
Yes!
Oh, my gosh. This is so fake. What? I hope all you guys out there listening are spreading around to everybody how fake this all is. We live in the real world. We need a real president.
Not a propped up Weekend at Bernie's kind of and the whole Weekend at Bernie's, and I'm saying again, just because when Carrie and I get together and we just start going off, not on the show, I mean just literally hanging out.
Yeah,
we come up with these insane things, and the whole Weekend at Bernie's was something we talked about like almost 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, it was a metaphor we used for a long time. It's been years. I wish we could go back and pull all that stuff up because I don't even remember what we were talking about, but we were definitely joking about it and having a lot of fun with it.
Right. So they were talking about Hillary raising money and all this stuff. Well, something that they're trying to hide and slip under is that Donald Trump has raised $100 million in just under 3 months, all from donations under $200. Single donations under $200.
I would have thought it would be a little lower because Bernie Sanders raised a bunch of money with like average less than $27 or something like that.
Oh, I'd like to think that under $200 is pretty handsome. I mean, that's if you're talking about business, people that run and own businesses, workers, middle class America that can afford a $200 donation. I mean, I could do a $200 donation. That's a lot of money at one time.
I know, you'd be like, whoo.
I mean, I've done little.
I'd miss it a little bit. I've
done little tidbits to
no,
add
I definitely
add up.
I've given a higher number quantity of money to Donald Trump than any previous candidate.
Ever.
So, but I don't think I've reached a $200 threshold, but yeah, whatever.
So let's talk about Hillary's crazy. We'll get to the crazy eyes. But what about the crazy antics of trying to play to the younger crowd?
Well, I know Johnson's been doing that. What has she been doing to play to the younger crowd?
Did you ever heard of a program called Between Two Ferns?
Oh, yes. When I stumbled upon that trending video, I could not help but it was like a train wreck.
You'll remember.
You can't look away from it.
No, you'll remember Obama did it back in 2012.
Right.
He went on.
There are shows and movies that you watch that their sole purpose for comedy is to get you to cringe. They think it's hilarious. Let's make the audience cringe. The more cringeworthy,
the more uncomfortable.
The funnier.
Yes,
let's make our audience as uncomfortable as possible. Well, that's what this guy was doing. And normally I'd be like, I don't like the cringeworthiness. However, this is Hillary Clinton.
It's the full bearded guy from the movie Hangover.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
And he definitely, the comedian that he is, I've got a 54-second clip of the whole thing. I'm not going to play the whole thing. You can go find it. Go find it on at Smyth Radio or go to smithradio.com. It'll be there too.
Do you have some excerpts?
I've got the last 50 seconds of this whole thing.
I already know what I'm going to say about it, but yeah.
And it's the cherry on top of the icing. So he asks Hillary a question. He says, so if you're president, what will you focus on?
Okay.
And she starts to ramble and blah, blah, blah.
Because she has nothing to focus on.
It's the economy and $50 trillion for green energy and blah, blah, blah. And so this is where we pick up from that part of the show.
The economy work for everybody, not just those at the top?
We need to take a break. We just need to have a word from our sponsor.
Washington is broken. The truth is, too many politicians are totally controlled by special interests and lobbyists. We're going to make America great again. I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
He approves the message.
Why would you play a commercial for my opponent in the middle of our interview?
He paid me in steaks.
I'd be afraid to eat them if I were you.
It's a good cut of meat. I think it's part of the asshole. Well, this has been a lot of fun, Mrs. Clinton. We should stay in touch. What's the best way to reach you? Email?
Oh. You've got mail.
That long silence between email and you've got mail was her just kind of glaring at him. And
she even said midway through this interview, she said, I really regret this.
I really regret doing this. Yeah. So here's the thing.
Breitbart's title of their article for this was, she regrets doing this.
Right. And I did that on my tweet when I found it. I immediately tweeted, regret doing this and all this. So, and you could clearly hear that she's not acting. She really is uncomfortable. She's really regretting doing it. This is not just her being Oscar material here, right? So here's what I got to say about it. This show, Between the Ferns, very liberal guy, very liberal show. It was a very important part of Obama kind of getting in with the young crowd and helping him. Oh, re-election. I thought it was in 2008. Was it 12?
It was 2012.
Oh, I thought it was 08. So whatever he did, it was a campaign ad for the Democrat Party for the most part, right? This was an attempt to do the same thing for Hillary. This was supposed to help her.
Right.
Is there anything that you saw or heard in this entire, how long is it? Like
it's a couple minutes long.
Like 5 minutes long?
Yeah, it's a few minutes long.
Is there anything you heard in that entire thing that would make you think, yeah, I could. This helped. I think it helped. It's all right.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Nothing?
I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's nothing you could take from this and be like, man, Clint, you nailed it.
So Los Angeles Times, as if you lived out there, you would know it's also referred to as the Los Angeles Slimes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Their title for this video is Zach Galifianakis on Hillary Clinton's Between the Two Ferns, Comedy Chops, and Donald Trump's Psychosis.
Yeah, you missed the mark on that title. Let's start making stuff up. Well, you can't fault them for their lack of creativity.
Right. Yeah, so this is Obama's one. It doesn't have a date, but he's got the white hair. He's gone completely
yeah, that's got to be 12.
Yeah.
He didn't have any gray hair.
He was a child when he was elected. What was he, 40-something?
It's like 14?
50. Good times. Wow. So that was that combined with they're calling this the Michael Dukakis moment.
Oh, really? You got to tell me about this one.
This is the Michael Dukakis moment, and it's only a few seconds long. This is Hillary Clinton this week.
Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Nobody should be fooled.
Okay, so that
what was that sound?
It was an edited clip, and this is during that, and I did that on purpose just so it remind me to tell you. It paused, the video paused, and then all that typing were these words that were put when she says, I'm 50 points ahead. Why aren't I 50 points ahead? And these are the words that were typed over her face. Benghazi, Syria, pay for play, Libya, Soros, lying to the FBI, fear-mongering, destroying evidence, rigging primaries, race baiting, money laundering, lying to the public, MSM collusion, slush fund, mishandling classified documents. Oh, and just by the way, Obama used a pseudonym, a fake name, when emailing her so that nobody knew that he knew that she had a fake email. So, but yeah, all those things. Oh, that's her history. That's her legacy. All of that.
Well, she's got experience.
But is it the experience that you want? So that's screaming, why aren't I 50 points ahead? Everybody's saying that's her Michael Dukakis.
Why am I not 50 points ahead? Yeah,
and
she
so
screamed it. Yeah.
And so you reminded me of what Dukakis did.
I almost feel like it's more of a Howard Dean moment, the way she screams, but yeah.
I do too, but why they went to Dukakis moment?
I don't know. I mean, he was in the tank.
Right.
And he looked like a bobblehead in it. He had the helmet on. He's a Democrat. He was going up against George H.W. Bush in 1988.
Right.
And I guess it was important for the candidate to look like they were strong with the military. And the Democrat Party, a.k.a. the Communist Party, has got a history of being anti-military.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Obama has literally stripped the military in his last 7.5 years.
So in his attempt to try to combat that, he looked like a little boy in a little toy tank. Yeah, it was terrible. Just terrible.
So this would be a Howard Dean moment.
I would think so. But the difference is Howard Dean just screamed some inaudible. Well, it wasn't inaudible. It was unintelligible. Whereas Clinton's actually saying something, and it's like the screaming, the cackling, and what she's saying just makes her look infinitely bad.
That and this.
Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might?
That's like, you would think somebody who speaks for a living, the woman gets $500,000 to $750,000 to get, that people pay her to get her mouth behind a microphone that's connected to an amplifier, connected to multiple loudspeakers in a live environment. You'd think she would have the wherewithal to not go, And what I can't believe is, why am I not 50 points ahead? Seriously. Like, how inappropriate. Like, the volume levels.
She doesn't have that filter. And when she came out on her plane to give the reporters a brief on, hey, I'm still alive, she looked so dead. She looked like death warmed over. She was so drained. She had no energy. And she was so tired that they cranked the amp as loud as they could to make her sound normal.
Okay. But
and you could hear in the background like somebody taking a picture, and it was like, cha-chunk.
Yeah, that's how they did it. They turned the gains up.
Yeah, the gains. That's what it is.
Oh,
they
my
cranked
goodness.
the gains all the way up.
Like the tubes in the amplifier were glowing. Like you had to stand back. The fans were going full blast in it just to keep it from melting.
Right.
Wow.
So, and we are bringing these things up, obviously, to point out that she is clearly unqualified for any position, possibly the position of sane asylum, being a resident.
Nurse Ratchet.
You're Nurse Ratchet. Yes.
Oh,
She could
my
certainly
goodness.
be that. And then the big thing that was trending this week about Hillary, did you see the video montage of the crazy eyes?
I saw a couple of, I guess they were making fun of it. Did you see the one with Jack Nicholson?
Yes.
It's
a meme.
Yeah. So Jack Nicholson's dressed up in his service alphas from the Marine Corps as he was playing the part in A Few Good Men.
Right.
And he was doing the "you can't handle the truth" screaming stuff, you know?
Right.
And the whole time, I guess it photoshopped, I don't know how you do that. His eyes were spinning in every different direction. And it just looks so bizarre.
You can't stop laughing.
Oh, I know. Oh, like total cartoon style.
So if you've been sleeping under a rock, you might not know. But if you haven't, go to smithradio.com or see us on Facebook or on Twitter at Smith Radio. And you'll see the video. It's a video montage that somebody took of her speech this week and clipped out and put it back to back to back to back of close-ups of her eyes and their movements. One eye looks down at the ground. One eye looks straight up in the air.
You sure they weren't photoshopped?
My sources on the inside tell me.
Because I saw the video, and I think the most bizarre part of what she was doing was her head would be stationary, and she was looking back and forth and darting back and forth with her eyes really wide open too, almost like the eyeballs are going to fall out of her head.
Right.
And almost with a scowl on her face, with her eyebrows down, like she's mad and she's beady-eyed at you, but her head wasn't moving. It was like, I'm looking at you. Now I'm looking at you. Now I'm looking at you. The whole time, head stationary. That's what made it look, to me, very odd. The part where everybody's saying her eyes were moving independently like a gecko,
Right.
I didn't quite see that, but I believe it. If you were, what Rush Limbaugh said about it was, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
No, that's a fact. Like you might be able to hear this clip, but I'll play a clip for Carrie to see the eyes and see if he. Oh, that was a meme. Somebody.
Oh.
Go to Smith Radio. Go to Smith Radio.
Oh.
Go to Facebook.com/Smith Radio. And there's a video. It's a meme. Somebody is holding a bottle that says truth serum up to her face. And then another hand with a spoon.
Trying to feed it to her. And she keeps turning her head.
Her head, her eyes, and googly head.
Like a little child that doesn't want to take their medicine.
Right. And then there's the other meme with the eyes moving cockeyed. Those are fake. Those, genuinely, I understand those are fake. But the ones where she's actually talking.
Now, I know that with Washington paralyzed by big money and partisanship,
I hope you guys can hear this.
the gap between the change we want and the progress that politics should deliver can look like a chasm.
See, look at her eyes.
I also know that even if you're totally opposed to Donald Trump, you may still have some questions about me. I get that. And I want to do my best to answer those questions.
Your best honestly or your best in a lie?
Well, you got to understand, I always try my hardest.
The best I possibly can.
To tell the truth.
Yes!
I mean, I try.
Dude, I am using all my muscles and my brain power to not
all of
lie.
my willpower. There is no more willpower than I can exert to tell you anything any more honestly than I've been telling you.
Right.
When it comes to public service, the service part has always been easier for me.
Dude, look at those eyes. Look at those eyes. She says that the service part has been easier for me.
So he paused it at just the right time. It looks like the right eye, the actual pupil is centered on, like, there's whites of her eyes around the pupil. So you could see where that eye is looking. Her left eye is definitely bisecting her eyelid, which means that they're not quite looking in the same direction.
Okay, and where are we going with this? Here's where we're going with this. During the Benghazi hearings, she wore those special glasses with the lines in it.
That's right.
To keep that, and it was on the left eye. The left eye had the lines, and it was to keep it from doing
googly,
this.
Going googly eyed?
Going googly eyed.
Wow, I never knew that, but that makes total sense.
Than the public part. I will never be the showman my opponent is, and you know what? That's okay with me.
Turn up the gains for the audience. When I saw this soundbite on,
why is the audience so loud?
On my what do you call it when I'm looking at it on Audacity?
Yeah,
I'm looking at the lines.
Mm-hmm. You can see the actual volume.
Right. You can see her as she's speaking. It's really small. It's really small, and then all of the sudden, this huge bubble, giant bubble of the clapping, and then it goes back down. So it's.
Now, I know that with so much negativity out there, it is really easy to get cynical, especially about our politics.
Dude, did you see those eyes? They went left to right, left to right.
She needs those glasses again.
Watch, right? Right here. See those eyes, watch them.
Especially about our politics. But you're here today because you refuse to accept cynicism. You're also here because you know this election isn't a reality TV show. It shouldn't be about birth certificates or name-calling or stunts to get on the cable news.
Even her voice got louder with the gains turned up. They turned the gains up. Her voice all of a sudden got louder, and she wasn't speaking any louder, but she all of a sudden got louder with the crowd applauding.
So there's definitely some post-production going on there.
Oh, yeah, and the eye, the herky-jerky eye movement, it's uncanny. People that said she had pneumonia, that's all pretty much been debunked. I don't know anybody that's going down that line anymore.
Yeah, somebody needed to say it, and then they needed the propaganda machine and the mainstream media to come out and say, yeah, that is pneumonia. Just wanted to announce that to everybody. So all you people that never listen to anything except for the headlines and never look very deeply into anything other than what we say in the initial 5 minutes of the news, just want you to know it was pneumonia. So go about your day. See you guys later. Good night. Have a good one. That's what they did, and that's how it works.
And so I think this is the Trump campaign that dug this up, no pun intended. But Bill Clinton back in 2012 was given a speech, and apparently it's when during Hillary, I think it was when Hillary was Secretary of State, and he was given a speech for millions of dollars or whatever he did. And he talked about Hillary channeling Eleanor Roosevelt.
Okay.
So this came. I love these little tidbits I find. This came up. Just listen. It's a real quick clip. But listen to it and try and piece together what Bill Clinton is trying to say about his wife.
I think all of the people who were introduced and those who were not introduced, all of whom have made their contributions to America, many inspired by President Roosevelt. And a special thanks to the members of the Roosevelt family who are here, and to one who is not, Eleanor. I know that because, as all of you famously learned when I served as president, my wife, now the Secretary of State, was known to commune with Eleanor on a regular basis.
Commune?
And so she called me last night on her way home from Peru to remind me to say that that Eleanor had talked to her and reminded her that I should play that.
Wait, what? wait, what?
This was 4.5, almost 5 years ago. He was going nuts then.
And by the way, why did he use the word commune?
I don't know.
Is it part of their? Is it like a? It's what you go and do together. Well, commune is
right.
Like a root word of communism,
right?
So maybe they were doing something like that. I don't know.
That's some strange things.
And she told Bill
that
to make
Eleanor told her,
yeah,
to make sure that Bill communicates to everybody else that she does and is led by Eleanor.
Thanks to the commune that they do.
Right.
I mean, it's one thing to be ambiguous. It's another thing to not make any freaking sense whatsoever.
Could you imagine if this was a Republican speaking?
We need that soundbite from Spies Like Us. The very opening scene when they introduce us to Chevy Chase. He's like the press secretary for like the president.
That's right.
And he comes out and he
that's right.
He starts talking really cryptically, and of course the press is like just riled up, and then he starts faking that the microphone's cutting out.
Yeah, that's right.
and it sounded like a McDonald's drive-through.
Oh, it's pretty quick too. It's only 58 seconds long.
Oh yeah, it's really quick. Yeah, you got it.
Except for the commercial,
like a 3-minute commercial prior to it.
They're like, please hold on for 1 minute and 59 seconds. So I've got.
Oh my gosh, you found that quick! Somebody actually uploaded that.
Ladies and gentlemen, as of this afternoon, the Undersecretary for South American Affairs emphatically denies any and all intervention in the current realignment of top positions in the Paraguayan Air Force. Thank you very much.
Wait. What about the Paraguayan Army's request for spraying subsidies?
Are there any Paraguayans here? No? Well, of course, their request for subsidies was not Paraguayan, as it were. The United States government would never have, if our president had not, and as far as I know, that's the way it'll always be. Is that clear?
How can you say we aren't spending millions on spraying when the International Wheat Board has reported, and I quote, extensive contamination in the grain fields of southern Argentina?
The state microphone's cutting out on us. I'm awfully sorry. However, it's an unstate, so I must go.
Oh, dude,
I forgot about that.
Yes. I'm so glad you found that, Mr. Producer.
Yeah,
Make sure we give him a raise.
As soon as we start getting paid.
Oh my goodness.
And this hour brought to you by
America is far less safe, and the world is far less stable than when Obama made the decision to put Hillary Clinton in charge of America's foreign policy.
Dead bodies on top of me.
You could hear the terrorists laughing.
We're following the horrifying events unfolding in Orlando. 50 people are dead.
Deadliest mass shooting in the history of the country.
America today is stronger at home and more respected in the world.
Russian warplanes buzzing a U.S. Navy destroyer.
Moscow trying to send a message.
And I couldn't be prouder of the things we've done together, but I'm ready to pass the baton.
Now, cities around the world are on alert after terrorists strike a major European capital.
America wakes up to word of a terrorist attack in Brussels.
Another mass murder in France. A large truck plowed through a crowd.
I am seeing major cities in Europe starting to ramp up their security.
I believe it's a world war now. It's no longer just isolated ISIS attacks.
A change in leadership is required to produce a change in outcomes.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. That's
I have not heard that one.
He has been coming out with such powerful ads that just...
Sometimes there are people that aren't even sanctioned by the Trump campaign. Like, people just come up with this stuff at home.
Right.
And they're just inspired by the movement, and they do it. Sometimes it gets to the top of the Trump campaign, maybe to Trump himself, and he sanctions it or whatever. And sometimes they never even hear about it.
Right. Well, what about like that video I showed you last night? It's a 4-minute clip.
It wouldn't surprise me if he either hasn't seen it or just decided, well, let's just let it stand on its own and just
because
whatever.
It went viral. I mean, this 4-minute video, they took
Christopher Walken's. I don't know what movie it's from. It might be King of New York or something. I don't know. Whatever it is, Christopher Walken's talking about a lion. If anybody out there listening remembers the movie that Christopher Walken does the lion monologue about, that's the background voice. And then they're comparing, whoever made the video is comparing the lion that Christopher Walken's talking about to not just Trump, but the whole Trump movement and how people are sick and tired of getting getting nipped at the legs like the lion is by the hyenas. And
you watch those nature documentaries on the cable?
Okay, that's the video of him. I'm not sure which movie. That might be the one you were talking about. Which movie that's from?
Say, what does the extra feature say about it? I mean,
there isn't any. Well, it's only a minute and 40 seconds long. You want me to play it?
Sure.
This is the background. Okay, this monologue is the background audio for a 4-minute video. So they stopped and paused and paused, and the video is just it's so shocking and so revealing. It is a montage video of all the violence and all the anger of the last year, maybe year and a half at the most.
Right. It's kind of like, hey, look, there's violence on both sides, but it's been almost exclusively from the left, from the globalists, from the establishment. And we've just been sitting here like the lion, getting nipped at, getting poked, getting messed with, and then, go ahead and play it.
Yeah. You see the one about lions? Yeah. Get this lion. He's the king of the jungle. Huge mane out there. He's laying down under a tree in the middle of Africa. He's so big. He's so hot. He doesn't want to move. Now, the little lion cubs, they start messing with him. Biting his tail, biting his ears. He doesn't do anything. The lioness, she starts messing with him. Coming over, making trouble. Still, nothing. Now, the other animals, they notice this. And they start to move in. The jackals. Hyenas. They're barking at him, laughing at him.
And in the video montage, this is the jackals, the hyenas, the ones that are laughing at him. This is all the Black Lives Matter. This is all the protesters, the disruptors, the Democrat Party, the George Soroses.
Yeah, and just to make sure, this analogy is actually perfect, but they're not talking about Trump. They weren't messing with Trump, and Trump wasn't doing anything. They're not talking about Trump. They're talking about the people who are now being called the Trump movement. We haven't done anything. We've let this stuff happen. We keep getting our ears nipped at, our tail nipped at, our heels nipped at. Just getting beat up on. And what happens is, they might even be talking about America in general, not just the people that comprise the Trump movement. Might be like America, and so they see that all the other animals see that America is not doing anything. So they all swoop in, the hyenas and all this, and then
they nip his toes and eat the food that's in his domain. They do this, and they get closer and closer and bolder, till one day that lion gets up and tears the shit out of everybody, runs like the wind, eats everything in his path. Because every once in a while, the lion has to show the jackals who he is. It's too late to be scared. It's time to kill. I'm going to the other room. You come out when you're ready.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
I'm curious what that movie's from because it doesn't say in the description.
No, it doesn't.
I'm thinking maybe King of New York, but I'm not sure. I know he was like the main boss man in King of New York, I think.
Right. Well, and think about it. It's a metaphor, obviously, in his situation, different than what we're talking about. And it could mean a couple of things. It could be the Trump movement in itself. It could be America, the people who love America and care about this country and want to continue the freedom, wanted to turn back, wanted to stop the racism, all the things that we rail against here on this show. I mean, that could be a metaphor for us here on the show as well. As it finally, I mean, that's why we started the show, because we, Carrie and I, were sick and tired of being sick and tired
they were
of all the hate that was being thrown at us.
The jackals and the hyenas moved in, and I was like, wait, we don't have to take this. And so we started the show.
Right. Fast forward it. Huffington Post earlier this week on Monday. And that is a left-leaning, very crazy left fringe news outlet, if you want to call it. I don't think it's a news. It's propaganda.
It's a propaganda outlet. Yeah, part of the DNC.
Yeah, they call this election a call for Trump.
A what? They called the election what?
Yeah, they're real upset with Hillary. They don't think she's got it.
Oh, they called it for Trump.
Yeah, they said he's probably going to win this.
You know, people are starting to just accept it.
The people who are sitting on the fence waiting to vote for the winner because they don't want to be wrong are voting Trump.
Okay, so here's what I'm hoping.
Am I right? Would you say that? Like, people sit around there, wait. I'm going to wait the last minute because I want to know who's winning. Because I want to vote for a win.
You're talking about the horse race analogy that I've been giving for years and years, which is that people have this really ignorant, it's very ignorant, hugely ignorant idea of voting. The way that they feel it's exactly the same way as when they go to the track. They want to put their money on the horse they think is going to win.
Right.
Not the one they want to win. Because in horse racing, if you bet on the one you want to win and ignore whether or not they will win, you're going to be broke.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like this ridiculous fallacy. I want to vote for the one to win. It's almost like a vindication. Like you feel like a winner. Like, hey, Obama won and I voted for him. I'm a winner.
Oh, yeah.
You feel bad.
How's that feel now?
Yeah, it's monumentally. It's the pinnacle of ignorance is what it is.
That's why we need to do something about the voting. But regardless, there is a huge movement out there that will move towards a guaranteed winner.
Yes, it's a shame. It's actually a problem with democracy.
Right.
Because that's not how it works.
Right. What do you think about a direct democracy? Now that we have technology that we have now.
No.
Still out for that? No?
Well, I think the best analogy to turn you away from that is, and I don't know who said this, but it's a great quote. Democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting on what to have for dinner.
Oh, wow.
So the minority is screwed. So what you need is a republic where you have somebody that's elected who their own personal conscience is going to be like, I can't let those two wolves eat that sheep, and that's what saves the sheep.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Hillary Clinton and calling off the debate?
Did she? Well, there were insiders. There were insiders,
on
right?
Tuesday, this past week on Tuesday, insiders close to the camp. They were obviously Republican insiders that are involved in the campaign that know people from her camp.
Okay, it's like some crosstalk going on there.
Crosstalk. They're saying there's a possibility. Because she called it off. She said, I'm doing no more rallies after my eyes got cockeyed.
Right, because we need 4 days of sleep and prep.
Right, and Trump said, have a good night's sleep. Sleep well.
And I heard that Trump is going out of his way to try not to over prepare, because that can actually be detrimental too.
Very well, yeah. So she is taking this time apparently to get a Trump double to work with her on her debate and get a lot of sleep. So she's not doing any rallies whatsoever. Then Tuesday comes and it leaked. She may cancel the first debate.
Well, they probably leak that just to see what would happen because...
Oh, test the waters.
Well, you got to test the waters because she may actually have to do it. And here's why. She's got all these days to prep, right? So what's the first thing we got to do?
Get her energy back.
Right, but we need to test to see how long she lasts because she's got to go a whole 90 minutes. So let's stand her up.
And they're not going to go any longer?
Let's put her up on a post and see if she'll stand, like Transylvania. So let's see if she stays erect for 90 minutes.
And as long as you miss her heart, she'll still stay alive.
Maybe.
Well, vampires, it's the only way to kill them with a stake through the heart.
Right.
So you can prop her up on a post, just don't hit her heart. Because she'll live.
It might have to be oak, like an oak stake.
Okay.
To kill her.
Oh, really?
That's actually debatable. It's debatable.
Lost Boys?
Yeah, there's some vampire movies that say it has to be oak stake, just like with the werewolves, it has to be a silver bullet or whatever.
Oh, right. Okay.
So anyway, I got a feeling that she went 45 minutes and started doing the spaghetti dance, which is what they say in boxing.
In boxing, when you start to lose your legs.
Yes. So she started doing the spaghetti dance, and they were like, what are we going to do? Wait, she's got to be 90 minutes.
And nobody can hold her up like the Secret Service has been holding her up.
What if they put extra starch in her clothes? Like she's so stiff. She goes out there. She can't even bend her knees. She's like waddling out there like the guy from the little boy from A Christmas Story. And she falls. She ain't ever getting up again.
She comes out in a metal suit with hydraulics.
With no joints.
The Tin Man who hasn't been oiled.
Right.
Okay.
And so that'll hold her up.
Right.
Until she loses balance a little bit. She's got to keep her center of gravity above and in between her 2 feet.
Right.
Okay. So I'm thinking after about 45 minutes, she starts doing the tipping over spaghetti leg dance. And that's when her handlers, all the millennials handling her, like, Grandma ain't gonna make it.
No.
We need to maybe leak to our buddies over there at the Republican side. And we might cancel this whole thing altogether. And let's just go straight to the election. Let the chips fall where they may.
Their handlers say, the insiders say, that they believe, the DNC believes, that they have a large enough lead right now that they could win it without her having to do the debates.
Wow. That's scary.
Well, it's scary because what are their internal polls tell them? And how are they getting internal polls? Because internal polls couldn't possibly show. She spent $50 million on attack ads on Donald Trump, and after that $50 million, she lost 10 points in the polls.
She should
stop spending money.
Right. Well, Donald Trump is pretty much just holding his money for something. I don't know. He's just like, he spent like $13,000 since the beginning of the campaign.
Yeah, just a couple bucks here and there. You know.
Oh, well, he's getting everybody else to do it for him.
When you have the media fawning over you to the tune of billions of dollars.
Jimmy Fallon's on board. Jimmy Fallon is on board. He's like, welp, I guess Donald Trump's going to be our president, and I'm just going to go ahead and treat him really nice now. That way I'm in early.
Oh, so that whole pickle incident, was that
no,
somebody else?
That's Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Fallon's The Tonight Show. He's the new Johnny Carson.
Why are they both named Jimmy?
That's popular.
Jimmy?
Here's Jimmy.
Jimmy, right.
I don't know. Well, Kimmel. Jimmy Fallon is the Tonight Show.
So Hillary Clinton went on Jimmy
Kimmel. With the pickle.
Yeah. And everybody's saying they heard no pop. The seal, it was already open.
And they even redid it several nights later with a real unopened pickle jar, and you could hear the pop.
So she did it again?
No. They redid it with somebody who was questioning it. Or something. It was some other guy, some actor, whatever that was on.
So there was a pop.
Yeah, you could hear it.
You mean they added it to it?
No, it was actually a pickle jar that was not open, and that had not previously been open either.
All right. So
what were you hoping?
Oh, it's all a lie. Everything's a lie to her. You got to lie about everything. Everything is a facade.
I like when she lies about lying. Oh, or they lie when they say that Trump's lying.
Oh,
that's even worse. That's the one that.
And I'm telling you right now, folks.
Boiling.
Anybody out there, please call in 513-888-1538. I'm sorry I didn't give the number.
It's been like 3 weeks since we gave the number.
Yeah, but call in, message us, email us at Smyth Radio, whatever. Tell me an instance where Donald Trump has lied, and the definition of a lie is knowing the truth and on purposely saying the wrong thing.
The opposite. Yeah.
On purposely misleading and saying the opposite of a truth. Tell me when Trump has ever lied. Even some of the outlandish things he said, the irony of life, it winds up coming out to be true.
Yeah, it ends up being true. If you're making a prediction, that by definition can't be a lie. Right?
Oh, right. I didn't lie. I was wrong.
And if you're in high school and you take a test and you answer the question wrong, that's not lying either. So you could be wrong about things. You could miss a prediction or whatnot. But lying is when there's a fact that you know. Here's another thing. There could be a fact that you don't know. That's the same thing as missing a question on a test. You may not know that what you're saying is false.
Right.
That's not lying. That's just not knowing what the truth is. But, yeah, I would love to hear somebody try to answer that one. I don't think there's – even the cruise people, he's a liar. He's a liar. Okay, well, let's hear it. Give me an example.
Because if you're saying he's a liar only because he called Cruz a liar and it turned out to be true, Cruz did lie about stuff.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely some lies that he said. So don't give me that crap.
Yeah, because you're just trying to flip it and turn it back around. So it's not going to work. We'll see if Hillary shows up to the debate. It'd be an interesting one. They're saying that this will probably be the most watched debate of all time.
Before we get into debate, we're into hour 3 now. Oh, my gosh. We need to talk about the big data dump of Cruz.
Yeah.
Late Friday afternoon, he talked about it's time to vote for Trump. A very shocking development. Even Trump himself was like, oh, okay, thanks. All right, I'll take it. So, turns out all those Cruz crew idiots out there, sorry if you're one of them, I hate to say it, but, I mean, you should be smart enough to know how the game works.
Did he write it out like a?
He wrote it.
Okay, so it was written. Anybody could have written it. But
I'm going to pull it up here in a second because I think it's so powerful it deserves to be read.
Okay, so maybe he wrote it, maybe he had somebody else write it, maybe he collaborated on the writing, but he put it out there as a press conference, press release, saying that this is my position. It's unfortunate, and I posed this.
Here it is.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I found it.
Okay. Now, before you read it, I don't want to forget something happened with Ted Cruz's wife the same day.
And I'll bring
I'll bring it up afterwards.
Okay. So this was sent out by the Cruz organization, Ted Cruz, U.S. Senator for Texas, and it says, "This election is unlike any other in our nation's history. Like many other voters, I have struggled to determine the right course of action in this general election. In Cleveland, I urge voters, please don't stay home in November. Stand and speak and vote your conscience. Vote for candidates up and down the ticket whom you trust to defend our freedom and to be faithful to the Constitution." True, yeah, and of course it caught a lot of boos, whatever. "After many months of careful consideration of prayers and searching my own conscience, I have decided that on Election Day, I will vote for the Republican nominee, Donald Trump. I've made this decision for 2 reasons. First, last year, I promised to support the Republican nominee, and I intend to keep my word. Second, even though I have areas of significant disagreement with our nominee, by any measure, Hillary Clinton is wholly unacceptable, and that's why I have always been never Hillary. 6 key policy differences inform my decision. First, and most important, the Supreme Court. For anyone concerned about the Bill of Rights, free speech, religious liberty, the Second Amendment, the court hangs in the balance. I have spent my professional career fighting before the court to defend the Constitution. We are only one justice away from losing our most basic rights, and the next president will appoint as many as 4 new justices. We know, without a doubt, that every Clinton appointee will be a left-wing ideologue. Trump, in the contrast, has promised to appoint justices, quote, in the mold of Scalia, unquote. For some time, I have been seeking greater specificity on this issue, and today the Trump campaign provided that. I didn't know this. This is breaking news. Ted actually broke this news. Today, the Trump campaign provided the greater specificity, releasing a very strong list of potential Supreme Court nominees, including Senator Mike Lee. That was not on his original
Which
list.
is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Who would make an extraordinary justice and making an explicit commitment to nominate only from that list. That's new, too. Remember before?
He said it'll be this list and maybe
He said it'll be like this.
Like this.
It may not be these exact people, but it'll be like these people. And of course, Cruise Crew people were like, "Oh, there's the lie, there's the wiggle room, blah blah blah." He's gonna like he comes out with a list of conservatives, but since he said they'll be like this but not exactly this, then he's gonna come out and put together a Supreme Court full of communists.
Right, gonna flip 180
It's
degrees.
ridiculous. Okay, so anyway, he has explicit commitment to nominate only from that list. This commitment matters, and it provides a serious reason for voters to choose to support Trump. Second, Obamacare. The failed health care law is hurting millions of Americans. It's hurting me, actually, just to let you know. If Republicans hold Congress, leadership has committed to passing legislation repealing Obamacare. Clinton, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt, would veto that legislation. Trump has said he would sign it. Third, energy. Clinton would continue the Obama administration's war on coal and relentless efforts to crush the oil and gas industry. Trump has said he will reduce regulations and allow the blossoming American energy renaissance to create millions of new high-paying jobs. Fourth, immigration. Clinton would continue and even expand President Obama's lawless executive amnesty. Trump has promised that he would revoke those illegal executive orders. Yeah, I mean that's only a part of it, right?
Right.
Okay. Fifth, national security. Clinton would continue the Obama administration's willful blindness to radical Islamic terrorism. She would continue importing Middle Eastern refugees whom the FBI cannot vet to make sure they are not terrorists. Trump has promised to stop the deluge of unvetted refugees. Sixth, internet freedom. This is a new one.
Well, it was popular this week because Obama is giving the internet away to the UN.
Right. Clinton supports Obama's plan to hand over control of the internet to an international community of stakeholders, including Russia, China, and Iran. Just this week, Trump came out strongly against that plan and in support of free speech online. These 6 vital issues where the candidates' positions present a clear choice for the American people. If Clinton wins, we know with 100% certainty that she would deliver on her left-wing promises with devastating results for our country. My conscience tells me I must do whatever I can to stop that. We also have seen over the past few weeks and months a Trump campaign focusing more and more on freedom. By the way, it's always been that.
Right.
It's always been on freedom. He's just now finally figuring it out. Okay, including emphasizing school choice, which I love that, and the power of economic growth to lift African Americans and Hispanics to prosperity. Absolutely true, right?
Right.
Finally, after 8 years of a lawless administration targeting and persecuting those disfavored by the administration, fidelity to the rule of law has never been more important. The Supreme Court will be critical in preserving the rule of law. And if the next administration fails to honor the Constitution and Bill of Rights, then I hope that Republicans and Democrats will stand united in protecting our fundamental liberties. Our country is in crisis. Hillary Clinton is manifestly unfit to be president, and her policies would harm millions of Americans. And Donald Trump is the only thing standing in her way. So I don't really like Donald Trump, but you know what? He's all we got left. No, he didn't say that, but he did say that he is the only one standing in her way. A year ago, I pledged to endorse the Republican nominee, and I am honoring that commitment. Better late than never. No, he didn't say that. I said that.
He should have added better late than never.
Right. And if you don't want to see a Hillary Clinton presidency, I encourage you to vote for him. For liberty, Ted Cruz.
Okay, so
I told everybody that has showed that to me. I think it's the strongest endorsement of Donald Trump that I've ever read. I mean, because I like the way it lays out the facts in very strong, simple words, very compelling, and it actually gives kind of an order of importance of those things. And I've been telling people from very, very early on, you got to watch out for the Supreme Court thing, man. We lose the Supreme Court, and it is really game, set, match, period. You really will lose the Second Amendment, without a doubt, and possibly the First.
This week, having to do with the Second Amendment, there was a judge that struck down the Heller case that didn't want to review the Heller case or something to that effect. There's some details that I didn't get into, but now that you say that, they're saying that Heller case is now back in the balance again.
It will always be in the balance because here's what will happen. What'll happen is you got somebody like Clinton. As soon as she puts a new justice in place that tips the balance away from conservative and to liberal, now we have a liberal majority judge. And by liberal, I mean a majority of the justices are anti-Second Amendment, okay? All that will need to happen is for anybody in any city to come down with a law that says you're not allowed to have guns, period. And then what will happen? Somebody who owns guns will say, whoa, I have a right to bear arms. Well, all the lower courts who've been stacked the past 8 years by Obama, Mark Levin pointed that out. I didn't realize that. All these lower courts all across America have been just piled in.
By Obama.
Yeah, and what happens is there's this huge majority of courts that are hardcore liberal and a very small minority that are conservative. So anyway, they're going to say, no, Second Amendment doesn't apply to you because we don't like the Second Amendment. It gets all the way up to the Supreme Court, and with a liberal majority Supreme Court, it comes down that the law that prevented this guy from bearing arms, which in the case of Heller was the Heller guy, turns out is going to stand. And guess what happens when that law stands at the Supreme Court? It's over. There is no more Second Amendment. They don't need to go through the amendment process. They have that judicial precedence thing, which is just ridiculous. It can never be challenged ever again. This whole thing about the pro-life, what's the one in 73? Roe v. Wade.
Roe v. Wade.
You get the Roe v. Wade, which is a horrible decision, but nobody ever challenges it ever again because it's already been ruled on by the Supreme Court, and that'll be the end of it. So now we got the infanticide.
Right.
We have a Holocaust. The American Holocaust is, and I'm just pointing. I'm not bringing up the abortion thing, which I know is a very pointed topic. To try to change the subject, I'm just saying that once these things come down from the Supreme Court, there's no more challenging it from the conservative side, and that's what's going to happen when they stack the courts in the liberal side. So Ted Cruz was right in pointing out that this is the most important thing, and there's other things too, which I don't know why anybody who calls themselves a conservative, and there's a lot of them on Twitter. I'm talking to you. If you guys ever get a chance to listen to it, we're talking to you. Yeah, you should not throw away the entire Constitution and be able to call yourself a conservative.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
It's literally not possible.
Right.
There is only one choice, and that's what we talk about every single show. There is only one choice, and we're just trying to make it as plain as possible for you to understand that. I'm saying, and I'm not throwing out tinfoil hat stuff, but I am going to say that it's really ironic that Ted Cruz, this late in the game, the Friday before the first presidential debate.
Okay, so before you go any further, when they do the data dump late in the Friday, that tells me that he doesn't want to make this big issue. Why would he not want to make this a big issue? I just figured, was he embarrassed to do it?
It could be twofold. One, it is Friday, and it'll be the lightest possible way of me getting out of this.
And by the way, Monday is the debate.
So nobody's going to talk about Ted.
They're going to forget
We're the
about
only ones talking about Ted Cruz right now.
Right.
Like, it is over. Nobody on Twitter, nobody nowhere, nobody's talking about it. It's all done. It's forgotten about. However, I think he did that on purpose because he knew it'd be forgotten about it within 24 to 48 hours. It would be all over with, not even thought about. But yet at the same time, it lends cover to his wife, who's going back to work.
Uh-oh.
For Goldman Sachs.
Oh, boy. Now, don't people have the right to work for whoever they want to work for?
They do, but if you're going to call yourself a no paid off Wall Street, I don't work for Wall Street, I don't get paid off, I don't this, I don't that, then apparently, because that was a big issue on the run-up of the Republican debates, was the fact that she worked for Goldman Sachs and the fact that they took, what was it, like, I don't think it was $1 million loan, but they took a huge, giant loan out from Goldman Sachs to get his campaign started.
Okay.
And
presumably he'd be able to pay that back with donations from donors, right?
Maybe,
I don't really know how it works.
But the whole point is that everybody was saying that he's beholden to big money, and it looks like
he was trying to run a traditional campaign where he gets the PACs going and everything like that. And where he miscalculated was that it wasn't going to work when people are looking for a true outsider, right?
Right, which wouldn't have been him.
Well, it would have been if Donald Trump never ran. I feel like Ted Cruz might have actually made it all the way to the finish line, the winner's circle.
It's possible, yeah. I mean,
who else would have beat him out? It surely wouldn't be Jeb Bush.
Right.
He was dead on arrival.
Oh, that Jeb Bush thing was that was ridiculous. But
I can't think of who else would have given Kasich. He won Ohio. Nobody else. I don't know how he won Ohio. In fact, there's actually some little insider information on that.
Really?
I heard somebody got paid off or with a favor. It may not have been money, but it was some sort of favor in Ohio to go get all the Democrats to vote for Donald Trump in the primary. I'm not Donald Trump, Kasich. Kasich in the primary.
Well, you could in Ohio, you just show up and you can vote for whoever you want.
Yeah, they know who you voted for last time, and they'll say, "Oh, Kerry, do you want the Democrat ticket again,
or do you want the Republican ticket this time?"
And of course, you could change right then and there, right on the spot, like 1 second before you vote.
Right.
You'd be like, "Oh, no, give me the Republican one."
Right. Which is a shame. I don't think any of the – if you're voting in a presidential election in the primaries, running up to who that party is going to be represented by, why would you allow other registered parties to vote in your party. I still don't get that.
I think there's a way that you could prevent it. I think here's a rule that I would. We're getting off on a tangent a little bit, but I just want to let you know that I do think about this stuff. It's like game theory to me.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about this proposal? You can choose whoever you want to vote for in the primary on either side, okay?
Okay.
But whoever you vote for, if they win the nomination, you are bound to vote for them for the actual. So let's say I voted for Ted Cruz.
Okay.
And he actually wins the nomination. I cannot vote for his opposition. I have to vote for him.
Oh.
I'm not allowed to vote for Clinton because if I were allowed to, it would be open to shenanigans.
Right. Okay. I'm down with that.
Now, the opposite is this. Let's say I voted for Ted Cruz in the primary, and Ted Cruz lost, which he did. He is not the nominee. I am now open to vote for anybody I want to in the general election. Anybody, including Hillary Clinton or even a write-in or whatever. But if I voted for Trump or Clinton, then I have to vote for one of those in the general because they're still in it.
I'm down with that. I think that would be a really
that would
good...
prevent all the Operation Chaoses that are going on. I mean, that's kind of a thing. And by the way, do not think that Rush Limbaugh invented that. He just decided to give it a name and to run with it hardcore in 2008.
Which was true. I mean, there was Operation Chaos that was going on.
But trust me, there have been people that have been crossing over to cause chaos for probably eons.
Right.
But yeah, so for those of you who like mine, call it the Carrie Smyth a voter model system thingy. I like that name.
the
thingy. Yeah, the voter thingy.
Does my whole idea of the of him coming out on Friday cover for his wife? Does any of that?
Well, my question is why does he feel the need to cover her up? I almost feel like Goldman Sachs said, listen, buddy, I want to hire your wife back and everything, but, I'm really, really ticked off about this Trump thing that you're doing. I'll tell you what, you come out with a full-hearted endorsement of Trump and we'll hire your wife back.
Wow.
It's possible.
Wow.
And then we'll do it on Friday so it doesn't make a big stink.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a late Friday afternoon. It was in the middle of the Sean Hannity show, and he goes from 3 to 6.
Right.
So
FBI does a docu-dump.
Uh-oh. Late Friday.
Late Friday. Emails show that, yes, it is a fact. The Clinton camp did talk directly about pay to play.
What did they talk about it?
They said they will pay if you play.
So they found that smoking gun.
Yeah, that's smoking.
Is it illegal? I mean, it's very corrupt.
Oh,
it's actually the definition of corruption.
Right. No,
but is it illegal?
To pay a Secretary of State of a country, to pay them cash in return for favors from the government.
Policy
favors.
There's got to be something illegal about it.
Absolute corruption. There's
Somewhere.
no question about
we have
that.
to talk to constitutional conservatives.
Oh, and then something else about her. I mean, we're talking about all these email scandals, the hacks, the Russian hacks, all this stuff on her emails and stuff that's been coming. Somebody tweeted out this week, and I caught on to it. They said, man, you got to see what this thing's going on with Hillary Clinton's website. You got to check it out.
All right. So what happened?
So I watched this tutorial on YouTube, and I said,
a tutorial?
Yeah, I'll get to it.
Okay.
He did a walkthrough for me. And so I'm in a place where I don't have a computer. We'll just leave it at that. And so I have my cell phone, and I have an app that will record the actions on my cell phone as I'm going down. So I can record a video of what I'm looking at on my cell phone.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So you can record your cell phone as you flip through the pages. It's really neat. It looks like an invisible hand's going through a phone.
Okay.
Okay. So I log on to Hillary Clinton's website, hillaryclinton.com / calls, 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 / calls.
All right.
You go to there, and it'll take you to say, okay, would you like to sign up to be a caller for us to call people?
The answer is always yes.
I said, yeah, well, thank you very much. I would like to do that.
I would like to call Hillary people on behalf of the Hillary campaign.
Correct. So, this
is so scandalous.
It says, do you have a login, or would you like to create one? So I don't have one, so
right.
I created one. And they said, what is your email address? And I said, my email address is hillary@clinton.com. That's what I said my email address was.
Yeah.
It's an error message.
Oh, I imagine that, yeah.
That's already taken.
Oh, no, you didn't.
So I did Hillary111@clinton.com. That was taken.
Oh, no. Okay.
So I did like Hillary1111111, like a whole at Clinton, and that was okay. That's accepted.
They accepted that email.
They accepted that email.
Okay.
The zip code was a little tricky. I had to actually provide a real zip code.
Right, because, okay. All right.
I couldn't fake that.
All
Real
right.
zip code. Fake address, though. And then I hit finish. And as soon as I hit finish, what normally happens? Please check your email to verify. Right?
You would think. Right. So you have to have a legit email.
Negative Ghost Rider. There is no verify. You are automatically dumped into the business end of her website.
Okay, and what does that provide?
And then it shows all the states, and you click on a state.
Okay.
Could be yours, could be another state. As soon as you click on that state, it then dumps you into another page of the first person for you to call.
Okay, so you get a chance to call somebody.
Julie Smyth, 555 Main Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45211. Her phone number is, her address, her phone number, everything. It's all right there.
Okay, so what'd you do?
So if you click call, you can call her.
You call her right there.
Right.
Okay.
I didn't because I'm on my phone. So I scrolled down. When you scroll down, it asks you two questions. One, who are they voting for?
Okay.
Hillary, likely, unlikely. Trump, likely, unlikely. Strong. What? So I clicked strong Trump.
Oh, you just.
Yeah.
You didn't.
I didn't even call her.
You didn't call her, but you could answer it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I scrolled down a little bit further, and it said, "Did you ask her?" Oh, and there were scripts too. You could go through scripts to read the script. Mm-hmm. And then the second question was, "Are they willing to help the campaign?" Yes, likely yes, maybe no, strong no. And I clicked strong no.
Of course, right.
And then hit next.
Okay.
And said, congratulations, you've made your first call.
Without even calling her.
Would you try again? Or would you continue? Keep going. So I did a second and a third.
So
and
you
a fourth.
put strong Trump, no help.
I ain't helping.
Strong no.
Yeah, strong no, I ain't helping.
You could do that forever.
When you get to 5 people.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it turns you to a page. Bright stars and balloons, and it's got a big number, gold number 5, and it says, congratulations, you've reached 5.
Okay, it's almost like a video game.
Yes. It said, that was easy, wasn't it? How about 5 more? Reach 10.
So did you go nuts?
I didn't want to ruin the system. Why would I try to game?
Did you get to 10 at least?
I got to 5 with her,
yeah,
and I re-logged in under Bill Clinton, and I got to 10 with him.
Oh my gosh!
So
that is the worst thing I ever heard. I'd hate to be a Democrat. I wonder if my number's in that thing.
I recorded the whole.
Is it only Democrats though?
Yeah, it's Hillary's website.
I know, but like what we have over on the Trump side,
whoever is in her website comes up.
Okay,
could be anybody.
Like on ours, it's. Almost, if you're a registered voter, it's on there, period. So you could knock on the door of somebody who is a hardcore Democrat, But it'll tell you. It'll warn you. It'll say, hey, buddy, I want to.
No, this
I wanna
website
approach
does
this
not.
one.
This website does not warn you at all. you are. It's potluck.
Oh my
and
gosh.
you're in for the ride of your life if you start calling people.
But here's the thing. Without them knowing who you are, and with the possibility of doing this in front of a payphone. So
a what?
A payphone.
Oh wow!
What I'm saying is a phone that can't be traced back to you.
Oh, you
could go.
You mean not a pay phone, like a phone booth where you put quarters in it?
Couldn't you call these people with a profanity?
They call it a track phone.
A profanity-laced tirade, saying that you better vote for Hillary or else.
I'm coming to get you.
Oh, I know where you live.
I got you still live at 1111?
Yeah. I know your name. I know your address. Oh my goodness.
And I got your phone number.
We are so bad.
Folks, don't do this.
Yeah,
we are tongue-in-cheek.
We're professionals.
We are tongue-in-cheek on this, folks. This is just games. This is jokes for the masses.
Yeah.
That's what we do here on Smyth Radio.
But just to let you know, it's possible, which shows you how incompetent they are. For the campaign to allow something like this is just totally incompetent.
Yeah. Yes, well, it explains the whole hack on the emails.
The fact that they are totally oblivious to these issues.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
And I don't know
shock.
I don't know how connected is it Roger Stone?
From
the movie guy,
Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone. I don't know how connected Oliver Stone is to politics.
Are you kidding me?
Really?
He is the most political director that's probably ever come out of Hollywood.
Okay.
He made the movie Born on the 4th of July.
Right, but I mean political in the sense, well, you can be very political and be ignorant. But is he political in the sense that he's savvy?
He's a very smart guy, but I think he truly believes the communism that he spits. It's more of an anti-Americanism.
Okay, so that's really interesting about this interview that he did with Christian Amanpour.
I like the way you pronounce that.
Isn't that how that's how it
sounds? That's probably it.
Okay,
yeah. You're getting good at this.
Should have heard me last week. I've been practicing.
It took you a whole week to get that right?
Oh, yeah.
Because that was like better than what I hear on CNN.
They're like, we're here with Christy Amanpour.
She's on that. She's on CNN.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Isn't she?
She doesn't even pronounce her name right. Maybe it was her.
So check this out, folks. This is a sound clip, and this has to do with the Russian hacks, Donald Trump and Hillary's email with Oliver Stone and Christian Amanpour.
Just quickly asked you about the U.S. election and Russia. What do you make, for instance, of Donald Trump inviting the Russians to hack into whatever servers in the United States to try, quote unquote, to find Hillary Clinton's missing emails? You remember when he said that? What do you make of the use of Russia in this election, including Russia being accused?
Stop it right there. Stop it right there.
Is this leading or what?
It's a completely false premise. She's telling him what the facts are as a premise that aren't true, and you could hear him start to interrupt her.
Oh, so Carrie, so you're telling me that Trump didn't tell Russia to hack her?
Can you prove that Trump didn't tell Russia to track
prove to me that Trump didn't actually hack her? Prove to me.
Well, because Trump is actually a Russian citizen. Oh my gosh!
Dude, somebody started trying to pull up his birth certificate. They were trying to do a birther on. And then he did it on his wife. They were saying his wife isn't legally allowed to be here.
She's illegal. She's a naturalized citizen, isn't she?
She got married to
All
Trump.
right, so go back to the false premise.
Okay. We'll start from the beginning.
Because it's hilarious.
Just quickly asked you about the U.S. election and Russia. What do you make, for instance, of Donald Trump inviting the Russians to hack into whatever servers in the United States to try, quote unquote, to find Hillary Clinton's missing emails? You remember when...
To hack into servers in the United States to find where is she going?
Dude, she literally said, what do you think of Donald Trump calling up the Kremlin and ordering them to hack in? That almost literally is what she said.
She said hack into American servers.
Russia. That was ordered. What do you make of it? That Donald Trump would do such a thing. That he would call up Putin and ask him to do that for him.
Why would you hack American servers to find the Oh, you would hack her servers to get the She said American servers to get the lost emails.
I mean, everybody knows that they're lost.
so it could be anybody in America who has them all.
Well, I mean, that's what
bits and pieces.
Even she has said that.
He said that. What do you make of the use of Russia in this election, including Russia being accused and suspected of hacking in to the American political system and potentially subverting the election process in the United States?
I think it's a great fiction, and it serves a purpose to disguise what's really going on. The intelligence experts that I've talked to have indicated to me that it's probably an inside job. And what's very important,
an inside job from where?
Often is it
from where? I think I answered the question with my statement. Inside job.
Was it an inside job from Russia? Because Hillary does have ties to Russia. Uranium One, all the millions of dollars. Government money from Russia.
So maybe it was Russian hackers.
From Russia.
Ordered by Hillary.
Right.
Wait.
And she's like, whoa, no, not mine.
Oh, my gosh.
From the Democrats, from somebody who's worked at the committee.
Hacking themselves.
Or somebody who knows about it. Well, I'm telling you, I can't go into all that information. But the point is, haven't we missed the contents of what's been revealed?
Haven't we missed the contents of what... See, he just told her, he put her slap down very calmly and said, you know what? You're crazy. Because let's talk about what has been revealed in the emails.
You're right.
Let's not talk about Russia. Let's talk about pay to play. Let's talk about all the money laundering. Let's talk about all the absentee. She wasn't there at the 3 a.m. call for Benghazi. Clearly the night of Benghazi, she emailed her daughter and somebody else to tell them that Muslims have rose up and attacked the embassy.
Right.
So it's a lie. It's all a lie.
One thing is for sure, whoever hacked her email account, you don't need to have it ordered by Donald Trump or anything like that, or Trump to have worked it out with somebody else. Right. There's enough people with the ability to hack into her horrible server that hate her and do not want her president of the United States, regardless of whether or not they're a U.S. citizen or not.
Right.
To have this happen without any orders from anybody.
No, and they're saying that there are a lot of people in the FBI that work for the FBI that are not politically connected, if you will, that just see what she has done as she has made the FBI look like a joke. And the people that work there that take their job very, very serious are absolutely beside themselves in anger and disgust about how Comey let her off the hook scot-free.
Oh, yeah. No, that's disgusting.
When all the emails, the emails show intent. And check this out. Here's the intent. The IT specialist that deleted all of Hillary's emails, he told the FBI he did. I'm the one that did it. They told me to do it. So I did it. The FBI gave him immunity. This week, found out he was on Reddit, which is
it's a Reddit.
Reddit.
Yeah, it's a new popular platform people are using
So you can go there.
Social media.
Yeah, you can go there. It's like a social...
I'm not on it. I'm going to be honest with you, so I can't really describe to you exactly how it's different from all the others.
Yeah, the way I saw it was like some of the old school websites that were like black hat, white hat websites, to where you could go into the site, create a profile, and then browse through different pages, or even ask questions about how do I do this, how do I do that, and then there'll be answers, almost like Yahoo, or what was that that Yahoo did?
Message boards.
Message board. Yeah,
they had the
that's what it is. It looked like to me it was message boards.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the IT guy for Hillary Clinton, it's been proven his username is Stone Tier.
Okay.
Stone Tier. Screenshots were taken of this incident that went down. It's since been deleted. But Stone Tier was asking other tech guys, whether it be hackers, whether it be not hackers, whoever out there, tech stuff. He said, his question was, hey, I've got a VIP, very, very, very important person. VIP, if I told you her name, you would know her. I've got access to all the emails. Is there a program out there, or is there a way to take her name specifically on every single email, header, title, everywhere, on the entire server? Is there a way to either change that name by Control, Alt, Search, Find, Replace, or a absolute delete of all that name?
That way, you're not accused of deleting the email.
Correct.
The email stays.
All he wanted to do, and he was trying to find out how to remove Hillary Clinton's name from every single document in the entire server.
Okay.
Oh, servers, plural.
Okay.
13 devices, multiples.
Well, the servers are different than the mobile devices that she was using. But
she claimed there was one server and one device.
Oh, well, she was wrong about the device. Yeah.
So the email showed that. The email showed 13
Maybe
devices.
She thought the plural of device is device, kind of like deer and deer. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so...
Because you know they would try to argue that.
Well, Bill Clinton said, what is the definition of is?
Yeah.
What does is really mean?
It's like a verb.
Right. So apparently there was no... and this was all done while she was under subpoena for this information.
So she lied.
Yes.
Liar.
A very big liar. So he never found, there isn't a way, there's nobody got back to him that there is no program, there's no way to actually do this. And he said, okay, thank you. Time stamped and dated. Next day, delete. All emails gone.
So he figured if I can't change this stuff, then it's got to be done this way.
There's also emails where he's talking back and forth with other people in an email conversation about these emails. Do we back them up? Do we? He's talking about the backup servers. Do we back up the emails? We got to be able to cover ourselves and to cover this. And in the end, it was like, no, you're not supposed to back anything up at all. And he was getting frustrated with that. And then finally, it was just...
You know what I would have done if... first of all, I would have thrown her under the bus. But let's just say I couldn't throw her under the bus. Just get a little flash drive. Put it on there. Nobody will ever know about it. Then delete whatever you want to delete. Then maybe one day...
By the way, that's funny you say that. There was a flash drive.
Okay.
It's been lost.
Now, I wouldn't lose it. Or maybe it isn't.
I'm not sure.
I may have lost the flash drive, or maybe I didn't.
It was Uma having a conversation back and forth with somebody else saying that, yes, the flash drive is missing. We can't find
Well,
it.
here's what I would do, too. I would let Hillary know right off the bat, because I don't want to die. I would say, I have it in a place that's ordered to be mailed out to all news outlets in the case of my death. So, just FYI.
Just give you a heads up there, sister.
Cool it. Yeah. Dude, you better make sure that I don't die, even by accident.
the only one who got away with that was the blue dress. I don't think. Well, I don't think that's a blue dress incident. I think you need more. I think you need more than just I've got it stashed somewhere.
Oh no! What's her name was holding it? Not Ken Starr.
Flowers.
No. The woman that got her to hand over the dress. She was holding it.
She was holding. Oh, okay.
Because first of all, nobody knew that she didn't wash it. Bill Clinton. Do you know how many rags that full of stuff, unmentionables, that Gary Burns said that the butler was running around throwing in the garbage?
You're lying.
You got to read the book, man. Crisis of Character. He said the butler looked like he was about to cry some days. He was running around with the embroidered White House linens.
WH, right.
And he would have to pick them up places. They were like all over. With unmentionables all over.
Okay, so Bill Clinton literally soiled the White House.
He soiled the White House literally, and it's written extensively.
And he wants to soil it again.
Well,
Apparently.
He certainly will try.
As the first lady.
No. If you talk to Bill Clinton, he would say this. Listen, I don't need to be in the White House to be soiling stuff.
Well, ask Colin Powell. That was found out in the emails. Colin Powell said he's at home still doing it.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, look at
He said it doesn't need to be the White House. I'll soil whatever.
Right, Oliver Stone's right. Let's look at the content of the emails.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Might have to censor most of it. But.
Right. So, hey, remember when Obama said back in the day, he's like, I found out she had a personal server and personal email. I found that out from the news. Remember when his answer was always, and we would say, oh, he's listening to Smyth Radio. That's how he knows.
Of course. Yeah.
His answer back in the day was always, I found it in the news. I learned about that when you guys talked about it.
Yeah.
Right? So he said, I learned about Hillary's email and the server. I found out about that when you guys reported it.
Right.
I didn't know.
Uh-huh.
Come to find out, he does know. He was emailing her.
If I had to guess. Yeah, but I could email anybody, but I don't know they're using an unsecure server.
If it doesn't say .gov, it's unsecure.
Oh, that's true. That's
Is
true.
it going to say .gov?
She was using Secretary Clinton at yahoo.com.
That would have been more secure than what she was using.
Probably.
I would trust in Google email.
Google, I would trust.
Gmail and the Google before that the homebrew server.
Yeah. By the way, did you hear Yahoo reported this week 500 million users' data was all compromised? And I laughed. I said, first of all, probably 499 million of that 500 million are abandoned. How many abandoned Yahoo accounts do you probably have laying out there?
I've got,
I have at least 2.
I was doing something back in the day to where I needed it a lot.
Yeah.
I had about 75.
Oh.
And I did.
But they're all see those.
I had a list of them with all the names, all the emails, and all the passwords. They're all gone.
But those are all considered individual people.
And they were, and I did a profile and everything. But I haven't used.
So that 500 million is probably more like couple million,
maybe, because there's dozens of emails out there.
And you are on a small scale. There's companies out there that probably have thousands of fake emails.
There were people out of Romania that would set up dozens of accounts for you.
They paid you for it.
Yes.
Or paid somebody for it.
Whoever. I'm not sure what the going. I think it was like 50 emails for like $5 or something.
Okay. And they wanted hundreds or something, thousands, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's just, it's out of control. Wow. What they do in Romania stays in Romania.
That's right.
For the most part.
I know a guy from Romania. He's like, a beautiful country. Very beautiful. Yeah, he lives in Ohio.
You should see.
Seriously.
You should see our IT guys, our IT room.
He is an IT guy.
Oh, of course, they all are.
He's actually not half bad.
Wow.
Anyway.
So check this out. We're kind of running down the last few minutes. This week, ISIS attacked a U.S. Air base in I believe in Iraq, and it is confirmed it was chemical agent was mustard gas. WashingtonPost.com blasting Hillary on the glasses and that she's a big giant liar. So I didn't see that coming. WashingtonPost.com. There was humanitarian aid over in Syria that was accidentally bombed. And it was a convoy of it was all medical aid, medical and food,
non-military,
and water, non-military, and it was accidentally bombed. I couldn't find out who bombed it, but the Syrians said this American-Russian alliance is now canceled. We are no longer doing business with America.
I don't blame them. I mean, Obama is just downright abusive in his relationship with not only Russia, but the Vatican and also Israel. It's ridiculous.
Right. So, and it is a fact, Obama did bomb the wrong people in another situation, which helped ISIS to advance. Oh, the founding members of ISIS, we just found out in the hacked emails of Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton acknowledges, and her team acknowledges in an email, that they will supply weapons to Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
Is and they're like, well, as long as they're just rockets. I mean, we could just give them rockets, right? So apparently, Hillary and Al-Qaeda teamed up together. Al-Qaeda is a terrorist organization. Teamed up together to take over and topple Muammar Gaddafi, which then turned into ISIS. So the founding members of ISIS, Hillary Clinton, teaming up with Al-Qaeda. It's a fact. It's in their emails. They acknowledge it.
Yeah, we're just reporting the facts, folks. We are not making anything up. We're not telling you stuff that's not true or just guesstimating. We're just reporting. Right. Just reporting the facts.
Susan Sarandon losing her mind. She says, I don't like Trump, but man, the horrible things that Hillary Clinton has done.
That's what's going to end up. There's going to be people who would never vote Republican, ever, who are like, well, hell, what's the alternative?
Right. So NBC came out with a poll this past week. They had Hillary Clinton up 6 points on Trump. However, if you read into it, they polled 14% more Democrats.
Yeah, and did you see how they word it? They said of likely voters. They're completely ignoring anything that they can deem probably not likely.
Right. WikiLeaks says
they could say whatever.
Right. WikiLeaks says that this coming weeks that they're coming out with emails that show that Hillary Clinton further armed ISIS after they were formed. Just unbelievable. I mean, it just goes on and on and on with this woman. It's just this knucklehead. Weekly Standard maps out the electoral. Yeah, Weekly Standard maps out the electoral college for Trump. So go figure. Bill Kristol's organization showing how Trump wins, yet Bill Kristol's still a complete bum. I got no words for Bill Kristol. Oh, and then the whole this week that went down. This actually, I think it went down on Friday or Saturday, but there was a bill put out that said that Americans could sue Saudi Arabia for the 9/11 attacks, and that bill was went through Congress, put up to Obama, and Obama this weekend vetoed it. Folks, there's documentaries all over the internet. There's actually a documentary on Netflix right now that talks about Saudi Arabia. And this is so damning. Hillary Clinton and Obama are so in bed with Saudi Arabia. And everybody keeps saying, well, there's no country called ISIS, so we can't go to war with ISIS. No, folks, listen. Saudi Arabia is ISIS. The country of Saudi Arabia is ISIS. If you want to go to war with ISIS, it's just another name for Saudi Arabia. It is a closed country. You cannot, as a tourist, go in. If you live there, you are under Sharia law. You are in like an imprisonment if you go to the country of Saudi Arabia. They snuck cameras in there, hidden cameras. They showed some of the just awful. Saudi Arabia cuts off people's heads in the middle of town squares all the time. Saudi Arabia is ISIS. I can't stress that enough. So if you want to stop ISIS, if you want to stop this murderous way and the promotion of Sharia law, of Islam, if you want to stop that and let people live freely, live without fear, You got to stop Saudi Arabia. You got to cut them off. And if Trump is elected, this is the thing that just deathly, just fear runs through Hillary Clinton. If Trump is elected, he promises a huge revolution in energy. Fracking will come back. Oil energy. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Saudi Arabia does not want this. Whew. Best 3 hours you spend anywhere, folks. Have a good night now.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, sorry. We were broadcasting up until right this very second.
With unfathomable power.
What kind of power?
Unfathomable. It's without fathom.
What happened?